Welcome to Truth Uncompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by SourceVibrations.com. All right, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight is June 8th. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We have Brother Morse Donaldson is coming back tonight. He's going to discuss a lot of stuff. He has put out a new book called When Europe Was Black, so we're going to discuss that, as well as he has a main topic that he wants to discuss called belief systems. So he's going to get into the different religions, the origins of them. So I am really, really interested in that. So he'll be on about in 15 minutes at 7:30. So let me see here. I see Brother Wendell. Let me bring him in. And then I see Brother Sean. Let me bring Brother Wendell in. Greetings, brother. How you doing?
Greetings.
How you doing this evening?
I reckon I'm doing all right. We ain't getting no rain today.
Yeah, I heard it's really been cutting up. Y'all been like Noah's Ark a little bit there.
It's kind of rain seems like a whole week down here.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Well, hopefully it wasn't any sliding, because I remember a couple of years ago, might have even been going on 10 years, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, when it rained so bad that people were getting flooded out. I know somebody personally whose house got flooded, and then the foundation got knocked off, and insurance wouldn't cover it. It was just a mess. So hopefully it didn't get that bad.
Yeah, I remember that. A lot of people got bullied up in that little deal.
Yeah. A lot of people lost big on that. So hopefully it didn't get to that point. So, okay, let me bring in Brother Sean, and then I see Sis Sandra on the line. So let me hit up Brother Sean right quick. Greetings, brother. How are you?
Greetings, beloved sister. I'm good. Brother Wendell, how's it going?
How you doing, Brother Sean? You all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Good to be here with y'all. I look forward to tapping it with y'all. I love y'all.
Oh.
Y'all my family. I love y'all.
Oh, we love you too, brother. We love you too. Okay, let me bring in Sis Sandra. Yeah, and I don't appreciate them cutting off my song switch. I was getting it in, and then all of a sudden it just gonna cut off. So for you youngins, that switch, that is the DeBarges' older brothers. They came out first before Al and them. So that's just schooling y'all a little bit. You may want to go YouTube they little stuff. They had a couple of little hits. So, all right. Let me bring in Sis Sandra.
They don't know nothing about that good music.
I know they don't know nothing about that right there, right? Oh boy, greetings, sis. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are everybody doing? It's Brother Sean and the Wendell. It's good to hear your voices.
Likewise,
all right.
Beloved.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we're on the West Coast over here, and I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if we can't get the rain instead of being prunes. because it's hot over here.
I thought that y'all rain situation had corrected itself, supposedly and allegedly.
It did, hopefully and allegedly, but it's June now, so, it's a hot town and old town tonight.
Oh, okay.
The play was cool. Los Angeles I just got back yesterday, and it was nice and 60-something, but not where I live.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think sometimes I want to just get on a plane and come over there where it's wet, and then get wet real.
Wow, that's the only.
Yeah. Then come back home and dry out. You see, before I get off the plane, it'll be dry here.
I hear you, sis. Well, I'm going to start talking a little bit about. I did pick up a copy of Brother Morse's book, When Europe Was Black, and I'm currently reading it. And it is on ebook. It's very inexpensive. So I encourage you all to pick up a copy and read with us as well. Now, interestingly enough, what I thought the book was just going to be about was strictly about the melanated people being in Europe. Well, surprise, surprise for me, because he actually, not only is he talking about that, but he actually mixed in going back to the creation of the universe. And it's just fascinating. It's fascinating. So for those that are on to spirituality and you like to read those sort of things, he kind of goes back and forth talking about a specific melanated person that ruled or had influence in Europe, and then he'll jump back and tie it into the whole creation process. So interestingly enough, the very first page in the book, after you of course get past the cover. Well, let's start with the cover. The cover is actually King James on the cover. And so I have some specific questions for him when he comes on about King James, the melanated man, because there's been a lot of controversy surrounding King James. So I really want to chop that up with him tonight. But then on the next page, he has King James' mother, melanated woman, which is Queen Mary. And it says, this was the mother to King James Stuart. She was executed by the illegitimate Queen of England, Elizabeth I.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth's father, King Henry VIII, decapitated the head of, let me go to the next page. Oh, shoot. So we know that story, basically, because it gets into the table content. But, she was basically decapitated. So that kind of blew my mind. And then he kind of gets into the whole creation with the Anunnaki, and how that really comes into play, and then goes back a little bit into Queen Mary's whole journey and how it was a lot of overthrowing folks, which I found very, very interesting. So I'm encouraging everyone, if you can, pick up the book, give it a read. You're going to be surprised. Now, interestingly enough, Brother Sean, I thought about you, and I should have documented the page that it was on. But now this was going to blew my wig back reading it.
Okay,
in the book, he was saying that Noble Drew Ali went to Europe to get the charter to operate in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to the melanated folks in Europe to get that charter. So,
yeah.
Huh?
I've heard this. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. So I'm not gonna lie. I was straight speechless on that. Now I know you and I have talked offline on the past in the past, and actually we just recently talked about it again. How this whole concept of who are really the dirty Moors, and as he's Brother Morse is giving us this rich history in this book about melanated people in Europe, you see where they were fighting for power
exactly.
in Europe. And here's the thing that just blew my wig back. I kind of knew it, but the way he put it into play. Oh, I'm getting feedback from somebody. Okay. But the way he put, I
hit the button. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries, sis. So, but the way he explained it was that, okay, think about this. They're over in Europe. So these are the melanated people now. Fighting each other for power.
Exactly.
Okay, so all of these names that you hear, Elizabeth this, King, such and so that, Mary this, these are really melanated people that was ruling at that time. Fighting and jockeying for power. And then to top it off, the religions that were set up, they're using that as well to fight each other.
Right.
So the thing that blew a sister's wig back was how these different kings, melanated kings, that sat on these thrones, and you will even hear the actual people that's connected to the Moors here in the Americas, you will hear them talk about this as well. How these kings over in England commissioned their own folks to come over here to set up charters. So here's my thing. It was already people on this land.
They know that.
So my point being, and I've always said this, and, people kind of looked at me like I was crazy when we want to say that white folks came over here and invaded. That is not the case.
Oh, no, they was the first slaves.
Exactly. So when they came over here calling themselves setting up charters, and those charters were set up under the Crown of England.
Black Nobility.
What'd you say?
Black Nobility.
Black Nobility, absolutely.
George III.
So,
and he was married to Charlotte.
Of Charlotte of North Carolina.
Queen Charlotte.
Queen Charlotte of North. So, interestingly, you say that, sis, because another video I was watching, and I'm going to try to go back and post that video. I know I posted it somewhere, but anyway, I'll dig it back up and post it on Truth Uncompromised page, where one of the Moors said that as they were coming over here, setting up these charters, that they would purposely marry the indigenous women of this land, melanated women, to get even more position to be over here.
Matriarchal society. They knew what it was.
So it all started to make a hell of a lot of sense because when they came over here to set up charters, they also brought over slaves, but they called them what? Indentured servitude.
Servant. Yeah.
Okay, they were the white folks.
Yeah.
They were
Andrew
the first
Jackson
ones that was the slaves. I'm sorry, go ahead on, Brother Sean.
Andrew Jackson was an indentured servant that had ran away.
Mm-hmm.
And still managed to become president.
And George Washington was a fugitive from the law, and he came over too. So they were kind of foolish to trust him, but they did, and he's the one who actually won over us.
Well, I say, I know, Brother Sean and I have had these conversations offline about that. I don't give a damn what nobody say. At the end of the day, although the front people are the quote, quote, white folks or Caucasians, it is still melanated people behind the scenes. Now, interestingly enough, in the book, what Brother Morse does, you're going to see as he's going into the true story of Europe, he also goes back to the story of creation. So you're going to see how it was a battle against, long before this realm was created. But you'll truly understand the split and who the fallen ones really were, why they, quote, quote, fell, and how the different races, and when I say races, I'm not talking about black, white. I'm talking about way before that. I'm talking about reptilian, etc., got created. And it makes a heck of a lot of sense, because the way he takes it in the book, he goes back several creations before the creation that we're told that just evolved around our particular realm. And then you'll see the flow of things. And it's a very, very, very interesting story. I encourage everyone to pick it up. I'm really enjoying reading it. So I'll pause in case somebody wants to put something on it. I know Brother Morse is going to jump on here in a second.
Yeah, two things.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, remember I told y'all that original creation did not happen on this planet.
Yes.
And number two, the bloodline is so screwed up. It is so screwed up. See, they did the same. See, this is what we have to understand for the ones that don't know anything about it, is there's one particular group of people on this planet that all the other groups conspired against to this day to destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the understanding we got to get a grip on. And a lot of them look just like you, but that's your enemy.
Exactly. Totally, 1,000% agree. And it's the same thing of rulership, okay, wanting to rule. And that's how the whole fallen angel concept came into play anyway. But I'm not going to give the specific part away in the book where he specifically tells you, based on what the one set of group did from a spiritual consciousness perspective, how they fail. And it's just really, really interesting. And a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about on this show for the last couple of months about the demigods, the fourth dimensional level, he has it here in the book. And I was just like really jumping for joy to see this. I'm like, yes. He hit on the point. But I didn't expect for it to take that turn because, I'm thinking the book was strictly on the Black royalty in Europe, but he mixed and tied it in to the original creation. So I'm telling you, it's going to be well worth your while, whether or not you just think it's a book about Blacks in Europe, or if you're on the other side that you like to really know the true origins of not only our particular universe, but just the creations, and notice I said creations, plural, before then, and who are the real players. It's really, really going to be well worth your while to pick the book up. So I am going to bring in Brother Morse.
Hey,
go ahead,
can I
Brother Wendell. Sure thing. Go ahead.
I want to put a question out there for everybody to keep in the back of your mind. Why is it that everybody wanted to come over here?
You mean to Earth? What? To planet Earth?
No, to this continent. Why did everybody want to come over here?
America.
And to this day, this is where they want to be.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say nothing because I didn't read the little part up in the book. So damn y'all, damn. I gotta zip it because I can't get a good part, because he goes into that, and we're talking several creations before what we know now, and the part that he brought up, I kind of thought about it because I had an experience when I was meditating and I was communicating in the higher realm that talked specifically about what he has in this book. And I'm like, I mean, what more can I say but as Florida Evans say, damn. So I'm not going to give that part away. But it comes very early in the book, and just get ready because it's deep, y'all. It's all of the stuff that we're seeing now that's going on and what we think we know, especially the average person anyway. You have to turn all that stuff upside down, inside out. So with that said, let me bring on Brother Morse. I see him in the queue. Greetings, Brother Morse.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, beloved. How are you?
I am superb. Absolutely superb, darling.
Good. We're excited to have you back on with us. We're, excited to, I was just giving them a little glimpse of my experience reading the book When Europe Was Black.
Yes. I've been listening to you for the past maybe 10 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you put a lot of gems in that, and I'm not even halfway through. I'm like, wow. So I will turn it over to you. I'm sorry. Go ahead on, brother.
I said it's a mind blower when the truth is revealed, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite, yeah, because it opens up all of those codes, DNA, games, and the master numbers. Mm-hmm. We all, as melanated people, are already encoded with. People who don't have melanin, they have a problem. The entire creation is saturated with melanin, from the planets throughout all the universes, material and spiritual universes. Melanin, which is blackness, dominates as three-dimensional beings here on planet Earth, which is the 12th living library of this entire universe, which means that everything you do on this planet affects the entire universe. This is how it has been for millions of years. This is the drama being the most exciting drama that the game masters of the Supreme Being, personality of Godhead, have put together for a purpose, which is to demonstrate to the entire universe what one should not do.
Mm-hmm.
People have awesome definitions of things which are completely erroneous. I hear people and I read things from what people have been acclimated to absorb, listen to things, watch things that they say in film and video, and it's mass confusion due to the fact that we are inculcated with a belief system, which is what I want to speak about tonight.
Yes.
The belief systems, because one belief system can contradict another belief system, and people will go to war predicated upon their system of belief, and yet both of them will be completely false and erroneous.
Mm.
What we have been inculcated here in this Western Hemisphere is a Zionist Jewish belief system. The belief system which is predicated upon the demonic reptilian aliens from Alpha Draconis who operate in an organization known as the Leveron Federation. Now, the Leveron Federation is occupied by beings from planets. They're just merely planetary beings. However, the arrogance of the male reptilian, which has no females, they lay eggs. They are hermaphrodites. Yet they feel that they are powerful enough to go up against the Galactic Federation, which is stellar, meaning beings that live on suns as opposed to planets, dominate the Galactic Federation. When you hear the ignorance of Western civilization talking about a Jesus Christ as a Son of God,
hello.
that is one of the examples.
Yeah, come on in.
Sis.
Can you settle down?
Sister Sandra.
I'm getting static, and I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I think that was on Sister Sandra line. Go ahead, continue, brother. Sorry about that.
Okay. I was intending to make a point of erroneous information. One is conditioned to believe that there was a person in existence by the name of Jesus Christ, which is not a name of anybody, and that this being is the Son of God. Now, this is the ignorance of a low-level, three-dimensional entity, because Prime Creator has no gender. It is not male, it is not female, and it is not a God. Prime Creator creates gods. Wherever there is a God, there has to be a goddess. There's no such thing as a son of God. There are sun gods, meaning that there are beings who are operating at a God level who live on suns as high-dimensional beings. Everything is energy, and high-frequency energy is, for the most part, what you call stellar. When a supernova implodes and all those umpteen zillions to the zillion square of tiny suns are resulting from that implosion, and they smash into one another. You can go to the library, because I've seen videotapes, which is how I've learned about that particular subject matter. Zillions upon zillions of suns smashing into one another. But there are intelligent beings known as the Watchers. It is the responsibility of the Watchers to take all of these umpteen zillions of suns smashing into one another and to organize them into solar systems. You rarely have a solar system that has one sun in it. The standard amounts of suns run from 3 to 4 to 5 suns in a solar system, maybe with 30 planets in it. So you find that beings without melanin, it is impossible for them to exist in a solar system where you have 3 and 4 suns shining down upon you at one time. The universe is 99 and 9/10% black, which was proven over at Stanford University by Vera Rubin, who, in result of her proof, drove astrophysicists wild over there. Stephen Hawking had been teaching that there is just one universe. Einstein thought there was one universe and it was static. Stephen Hawking blew his mind because he taught Einstein that there is one universe and it is in motion. This concept was from what he theorized as a Big Bang concept. The Big Bang produced the one universe that was constantly expanding. Well, Stephen Hawking is from the Zionist belief system, which is what Western civilization is dominated by. However, the Judaic, Christian, Zionist, Hebraic belief system is flawed due to the fact that this Zionist, this Ibiru, as we call him, from the planet Nibiru, comes from a planet which was dominated by Lucifer, teaching the concepts of the Templars. The Templars on Nibiru, where Yahweh Jehovah exists, were a group, or are a group, that is related to what's known as the fallen ones. In Western civilization, the church likes to call them fallen angels. However, they are known as fallen devils. These are the beings that went against Prime Creator and his directive of doing a creation predicated upon melanin, female sexual energy, and the spiral curve as the original Trinity. These beings, led by Metatron and a character by the name of Giovanni, they wanted a creation predicated upon whiteness, male dominance, and the square cube, which was an exact antithesis to what Prime Creator had already done 950 billion years ago. Their revolution started 250 billion years ago with regards to their desires. It is the laws and the design of the nomenclature in the universe to provide you with what you desire. And if you desire it strong enough, and you have a collective that thinks the exact same function, it will manifest. So what happened is that they got their creation without melanin, which means they all became albinos. And it went further than that. They lost, because when you lose that melanin, which is created, you have nothing to create with. So that lack of melanin, and they're becoming albinos, continued to deteriorate where they became disembodied entities. They had no bodies whatsoever. All they could be was a spirit operating at the lowest level of consciousness, because you lose consciousness also when you disconnect from prime creator. Ultimate of consciousness. Consciousness is the principal factor by which you are able to call things into existence. The humans were created to be doctor, God, scientists for the purpose of doing research to find out why the previous creations done 950 billion years prior to this one went awry. Prime creator did not produce a creation predicated upon religion. The etymology of the word for religion means to subjugate, to bind, to restrain, and to enslave. It is a creation of the reptilian demonic humanoid, which is why the sources here operate as agents for the reptilians, because they design religion for the purpose of having the astral bodies of the humans upon this planet as a food source, coming to their dinner plate in heaven. There is no such thing as a place called heaven. The erroneous information in the Bible speaks about those fallen angels from heaven, which was really the heavens, which is the sky. It's predicated upon where you are in the relationship to the sky, because a universe has 7 different layers and a nucleus. The only place that has time, space, and matter is the third band from the skin of the universe. And it is circular. You have to cut it in half in order to see that that third band is the tiniest of those 7 bands. And yet it is the place where time, space, and matter exist. Those other bands do not have time, space, and matter in them. It's energy and frequency. Some energies move faster, some energies move at a snail's pace. And if you are an astute cosmonaut flying spaceships for the time that Yeshua, I would say the order of Christ, which is the second subdivision of Prime Creator, which brings density into the creation for the very first time.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you, brother? Uh-oh.
Yeah, it sounds like we lost you.
Okay. Okay, let me...
There they go.
I know, because I'm telling you. Hold on, y'all. Let me let them know. All right, he's coming back on. He didn't even know he had dropped.
Yeah, they had it again. It'll be all right, though.
Yeah, it'll certainly be all right. Okay, I think that's him coming back on. Nope, not yet.
I mean, the book already out. You talking about what's in the book, so it's not like they stopping no real information.
No, and all of that information he was going over is definitely in the book, but in more detail. So here he is. Let me bring back Brother Morse back on. Okay, brother, you there? Okay, there we go. Okay.
So you say you lost me from the time I started talking about the order of Christ being.
Yes.
Okay. So man, that's a good point. We can go from there. The first subdivision of Prime Creator with regards to producing this creation is known as the Melchizedek order. The Melchizedek order is the order of spirituality, which Prime Creator has no gender, he has nothing for good or evil, or for right or wrong. Therefore, there is no such thing as sin. And the church is a liar and tells you that you are a sinner. Prime Creator is as evil as Prime Creator is good. So don't get the things confused and feel guilty. The powers that be on the infernal side, the demonic side, they know these things, which is why they do what they do, because they know that Prime Creator does not care. And there's no punishment that they're going to receive. Theirs comes in relationship to karma. Karma never lets you go from lifetime to lifetime. So they have you thinking on an infantile level with fear. And as Anu says in the Pleiadian Agenda, if I knew that using fear, I could get you humans on planet Earth to hop, skip, and jump around like crazy folks, I would have used fear against you a long time ago. Fear is your worst enemy. Christ beings are warriors. Christ beings do not pray. And the nonsense that they tell you that a Jesus Christ does and has a white boy looking up in the sky. Yeshua Pendera. Means Joshua, the son of the Black Panther. So Pandera means Ben means son of. Pandera means Black Panther. There was Yeshua ben Pandera the 12th, and Yeshua ben Pandera the 9th, coming out of what is known as the Order of Christ, which is the second subdivision of Prime Creator, bringing density into existence for the very first time. Density is predicated upon time, space, and matter. With this order of Christ consisting of trillions of Christ beings operating on thousands of different dimensions, and all of them being female first, as the Melchizedek order was all female first. The next order is the subdivision of both the Melchizedek order and the Christ order, bringing about the order of the Supreme Being personality of Godhead, which was all female first. It is the females that collectively put their minds together with Prime Creator and thought the males into existence. Then the females had to teach the males how the creation works. What has happened is the demons have flipped the script with their Adam and Eve bullshit Bible creation. That is to create disorder in the human psyche. Because the male begins to think that the male is dominant. And that in the Bible it says, in the Holy Quran it says, and both of them have the female in the background. Mm-hmm. This is totally reptilian, which has no females in their existence. As albino Dracos, the Alpha Draconians, only males. So they care nothing whatsoever about the females. And yet Prime Creator, having had a creation 950 billion years prior to this one commencing, knew this reality and made sure that it was females and female sexual energy, which spins the galaxies and keeps the universe balanced. This is one of the greatest aspects of the female entity. All things that come into existence as sentient beings are always female first. If they're going to be males, it turns into males later down the line in the womb. But the origin is always females first, which is why you have the goddess principle existing even upon this planet for hundreds of millions of years, because the humans upon this planet, as indigenous humans, were created 560 million years ago on the fifth dimension known as Tara. Now, you've had ETs coming in and out of this planet for billions of years, hundreds of billions of years, but they're not the indigenous entities of the planet. They come from other areas coming here to access some of the resources here, because this planet is saturated with an abundant amount of the most awesome resources that can be used in order to create physical vehicles, machinery, whatever you desire on your planet. So beings will always come here and extract the physical properties from the planet, to use them on their planet in order to enhance whatever they were producing through what is known as machine world, which is a term used by Jose Arguelles in the Arcturus probe. We've been living in machine world under Jehovah's demonic projection, a 5,200-year projection that destroyed the heaven on earth Camelot projection of 104,000 years, which was done for us when Jehovah shot it down and gave us his Babylonian death sphere of hell on earth 5,200 years ago, and his projection terminated on December 21st, 2012. Which is why people are running around, the world is going to end in 2012. The world is going to end. That's the scuttlebutt from people who are unknowing, because the only thing that ended was the power of Yahweh Jehovah, which would protect the Zionists, and have been protecting the Zionists here for 5,200 years. Now, the shift happened so that protection terminated at the same time our solar system was moving into what's known as the photon band. The photon band is a 2,000-year wide band of light. After spending 11,000 years in galactic darkness, things are balanced by giving you 2,000 years in galactic light. Then once again, on the other side of that light, you go through another 11,000 years in galactic darkness, and on the other side of it, you get 2,000 years of light as a band of consciousness. If you are on the solar system that we are on, which is at the very bottom of the Pleiadian structure, if you are at the apex of that Pleiadian structure, you are always in the light band. And that is where your Christ beings who incarnate in this solar system live. It's known as Alcyon. You can go on YouTube and listen to Sarah, which is the elder daughter of Yeshua 9, which married Lady Nada, who they call Mary Magdalene, as three Christ beings were here at the exact same time in the exact same location. It was Yeshua 12, who was born 9/11, 12 BC.
Interesting.
And there was also Yeshua 9, who was born 7 BC. And then you had our hobby, who was born 25 AD. Actually, it was 27 AD. You do want to do the master numbers. A 2 and 7 are 9.
9, yep.
Only 9 numbers. But our hobby was not an avatar. Now, of the questions that I gave, the 5 questions, I left out avatar. An avatar is extremely important because an avatar is not the avatar you saw in the motion picture done by Hollywood. An avatar is a being who has gone back to home base, it's called. Because when you incarnate onto a material planet such as this, you incarnate as 1,043 beings at the exact same time.
Wow.
And you're never alone. You have all those beings that are you, spread out in different time zones, different areas, different planets, different etc., different dimensions. But they're all you. And then you have your higher self, which watches over all of that. So you are never alone. You are observed by yourself 24/7, as well as by other beings in other areas of this planet, be they solar systems, be they galaxies, in this universe. Because of the planet being the 12th living library. It was made like that by the higher dimensional beings. There are so many beings and orders between what you would call prime creator and the 3-dimensional level of existence. You have your game masters, your star makers, your star masters, your 7 lords of light, your indigo beings, avatars, and it goes on and on. You have your watchers, you have your elementals, and we don't know any of these things. You cannot learn these things when you are brainwashed with religion. Angels are fleets of spaceships. They're not beings flying around with wings. Archangels are fleets of mother ships. Some of those mother ships are larger than this planet is. With the belief system that we have in Western civilization, which is heavily influenced by Charles Darwin, particularly when it comes to the Caucasian, that's comfortable for them because you have a swine transforming itself into the lizard, the alligator, all the way up to the primates, and to the final blonde-haired, blue-eyed Caucasian, which for the Caucasian, that is the apex of existence in terms of the human species. Now, that is about as true as the planet being flat and going to the edge and falling off of it, which is what the church, as the Roman Catholic Church, believed in Europe and murdered people by the millions if you did not believe the same thing. You were called and labeled a heretic. They burned Giordano Bruno, and they were about to burn Galileo after having burned hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people for 700 years from the Spanish Inquisition. After we, as black people, civilized or attempted to civilize what we found in the area of Spain and Portugal, which had never bathed for 6,000 years, and the African Moors ended up giving them and teaching them how to use soap, building bathhouses for them, and teaching them how to corral their animals so their animals didn't sleep, defecate, and urinate where they slept in those caves. So what we are giving attention to is something that will retard our progress even more, particularly when we begin to think of the fact that there are so many humans on planets, living inside of planets, on moons, living inside of these moons and these asteroids that we have in our solar system alone, who are millions of years beyond us with regards to technology. Everybody flies spaceships. Everybody can do genetic engineering. And we can't do anything here. Just learning genetic engineering by the ETs that the United States military industrial complex has been working with, and the Jewish scientists have been working with. And what are they producing? Cyborgs. They're doing the same thing that caused Atlantis to be destroyed, mixing human DNA, human genes with animal genes and DNA. They are mixing them with machines. They cut the heads off of the black people who live in Sri Lanka on the other side of India, tie them heels together and hang them upside down and let the spinal fluid drip into buckets so that they can make what they call cyborgs. They care nothing about human life because they are themselves ETs. They're interested in producing these cyborgs for World War III, machine people, centipedes with 24 legs who are maybe 50 feet tall, that can climb up the sides of buildings with all those legs. This is what the demons have been preparing for a war. And they're not knowing that the higher multidimensionals watch them 24/7. And all their efforts have been in vain. Because with the new energies that the avions, who look like what they call the Horus characters with the bird head figures, they're also on the walls in Kemet. But the avions maintain balance in the universe. What they have done is they've given tremendous powers to the Galactic Federation to defeat the reptilians with. At the same time, you have the Ascended Masters from Kemet as well as the Ascended Masters from Atlantis, which exists, by the way, in Antarctica, with the black people in there, with spacecraft civilization. Obama has been there. John Kerry has been there. Hillary Clinton has been there. Lots of people have been in and out of there who are government figures, but it's a top secret operation. You have architects, anthropologists who have been down there for 15 years digging up information. By the same token, the black people are living in Atlantis, which is beneath Antarctica, where some of the spatial areas are as large as states themselves are. And there are spaceships, flying cars, ultra-modern technology, ultra-modern living facilities, and black people walking around with this kind of advanced technology, millions of years more advanced than anything that the United States military industrial complex or any of its aliens have. And then debates breaking out as to whether or not this should be disclosed to the general public. Of course, the Americans' attitude is, let's wait 100 years and let's let it seep out slowly, because they don't want to be embarrassed by the fact that black people who existed when Atlantis was set up 250 million years ago in 5 different stages still exist with technology beyond their ability to even conceive of. This produces what's known as trauma in the white psyche, which has been conditioned to believe that they are the highest and most intelligent and most powerful humans on the planet. This is what drove John Martin crazy, who was one of the astronauts that went to the moon on the Apollo mission. He could not stop babbling about seeing these 15 feet tall jet black people with technology millions of years more advanced than anything they could conceive of, materialize and dematerialize, living inside of the moon in craters with gigantic domes over the craters. The domes are made of granite. It's not glass, it's granite. You can polish granite. So, especially until it becomes transparent. And yet it has the same tonality of the stone granite, which means it cannot be pierced.
Mm-hmm.
We are awesome. We don't have a clue. We don't even know anything about ourselves being the royal families in Europe for 45,000 years and building all those castles that Hollywood will show you just a few of, maybe 103 rooms. We had some which were 143 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Long before the Caucasian ever came into existence. What you'll find now should be playing tonight. No, yes, it might be playing. No, it's on Wednesday night. Okay, it's the New Chandra Grimes show about the black Romeo and Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, still star. Okay, because that illustrates black people as royalty. Young black prince, the princes, but that's nothing. The kings and queens of all the royal families of Europe for 45,000 years were black people. And what the Caucasian doesn't know about, which because they were not a part of the knowledge, which is what Christ's daughter, Sarah, is talking about, all beneath this planet. And Europe at that time, as well as Britannia, which was what we call underground spacecraft civilizations. There's an entire network of underground spacecraft civilizations where beings who have been coming in here for millions of years live. And they have their spacecraft, they have their ultra-modern civilizations, and they fly in and out of this planet through the various openings that they know about, going through the ocean sometimes, and then leaving out of the ocean to fly up into the sky, visiting other planets and solar systems, going through the different stargates, going through different wormholes in order to move quickly from galaxy to galaxy. All of these things are going on and have been going on for hundreds of millions of years on this planet. The United States military-industrial complex, they know about it, but because they cannot do it themselves, they don't want the humans who they govern to know that these things exist.
Right.
Because it intimidates them. The United States government stole $11 trillion from the American people and created underground worlds for itself, trying to compete with having at least an underground facility, and they call them DUMBs, which is an acronym for Deep Underground Military Industrial Complexes. And they would imprison a person for life if they work for them on these projects and they reveal this information to outside sources. So yes, they intimidate you, but what they usually do is just kill your entire family along with you because they don't know who you've been talking to. Once they found out you've been divulging information, which is top secret, all the information about the black ETs with these spaceships that can do phenomenal things are top secret. Some of the cosmonauts who work for NASA have had to wait until they retired and they leave out of the country, like the one that left out and went to Africa and then sent the videotapes from Africa to YouTube with the sister in the spacecraft, the mothership actually, which is twice as tall as the Eiffel Tower, to show you that black people are everywhere. sister that was preserved while the other physical bodies had deteriorated, her body was completely intact. It is in the book, but I have the videotape, and you get the videotape from off of YouTube. They call her Mona Lisa on YouTube. Mona Lisa doesn't have any lips, and this sister has the most beautiful black lips that you can find on melanated people. She has dreadlocks. Mm-hmm. She has 6 fingers. She is stunningly beautiful. And they carbon dated her body at 1.5 billion years old. And it is still in perfect condition. It is intact. If it's 1.5 billion years old, it comes from another planet. The Zulus came here from Mars. Prior to this demon coming up in here, I mean, that was a constant thing. People always traveled. We ran a spacecraft civilization on this planet other than just the 5th dimension, and the 5th dimension is still operating for hundreds of millions of years, even here on the 3rd dimension. As I said, Atlantis was produced 250 million years ago at a spacecraft level of existence by the black scientists from the 5th dimension, known as Tara, who were seeding all 13 dimensions of this planet with life forms. Every planet in our solar system has access to 13 dimensions. And these ignorant scientists here on this planet don't have a clue about what the 5th and 6th dimension is all about. 5th dimension is love. The 4th dimension is hell. That's where you don't want to operate at. Right. That's where the Nibiru comes from. That's where Yahweh, Jehovah, comes from. And they call Jehovah God the Father. And yet Jehovah is nothing but a low-level backroom office clerk on the 4th dimensional planet of Nibiru. But following these Hebrews and their Judeo-Christian belief system is what takes you to that level of unconsciousness. In the Pleiadian agenda, Isaiah tells you, do not read that Bible. He says, I've been tricked by the Knights Templars, had me channeling for 60 years for them. And they kept telling me it had meaning. It explains that when you read the Bible, you allow Yahweh Jehovah, who goes by the name of Natus, which is Satan spelled backwards, to have access to controlling your mind. Yahweh is a conduit into your mind on page 201 of the Pleiadian Agenda by Barbara Han Clow, C-L-O-W. She's a mixture of Swedish and Cherokee. And she goes to Egypt on a constant basis, taking people so that they can do the necessary rituals and sound frequencies with the black priests there to open up various portals. We don't have a clue about our who we are, but that's okay. This is the design of Sambo, the Supreme Being, personality of Godhead, and everybody who is here doing that slavery period volunteered to be the crucifixion. Wow. So by that crucifixion, you become the resurrection of today. And the resurrection of today, Sambo, the Supreme Being, personality of Godhead, of this universe, teaches everybody that it is the African in the Americas that are his chosen people. If you don't believe it, the Negus from the Western Asiatic black man, the Negus. When Napoleon went looking for the temples to tear it down, but he couldn't find it because it was buried underneath the roots, which became the roots from the birds for thousands of years. Their droppings over top of the temple produced a covering, which was hidden because one of Napoleon's tasks from the demons that produced him was to tear down that temple of the Negus. And he couldn't find it. So we're dealing with principalities that you're fighting against. So yeah, we're the walking dead. But in terms of being the dead, everybody in the universe on this planet copies us. They try to copy our blues, our jazz, the way we talk, the way we walk. And the super rich white boys cannot make any money on the NBA. They don't have black players out there doing things that white boys could never even dream of doing in a million years. The same thing on the football field. It's the image maker, the Zionist image maker. Hollywood shows you medieval Europe was not one black person in medieval Europe.
Right.
It was dominated. You see, so that's our problem also. We have many adversaries, but that Hebrew adversary, along with the Saxon from Sax, Colbert, Gotha, a German house, which occupies the royal throne of Britain today. That combination is what is the enemy to the human species on this planet. Prince Philip stated just recently, if I could reincarnate, see, because they don't have souls, so they cannot reincarnate. They're reptilians. They shapeshift. They live for millions of years and go from one body to the next. He said, if I could reincarnate, I would reincarnate as a virus so that I could kill everybody.
Wow.
This is their thinking. I'm just quoting what was stated for him. It's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. Start checking out people like the Pleiadians, founded by Barbara Marciniak. These beings, the Pleiadians help to create our bodies. They went from the blacks to the whitest white. They help to do the genetic engineering, which produced our physical bodies, giving us a 12-stranded DNA system and giving us the racial identity of the black gods of Sirius B. Everything in this galaxy comes out of Sirius B. The Sirius B, which had produced the energy and the consciousness of Kemet, severed its connection with Kemet after 50,000 years of operating through Kemet by Atlantis, when the Jews tried to snatch Akhenaten's scepter. The Anunnaki used the Moses character to transform him into what's known as Priest Eluru, a demon reptilian who caused Akhenaten to panic because he didn't have his power body with him. And when he reached to snatch Akhenaten's scepter, the Syrians had already severed any relationship between Sirius B and Kemet. That was 1333 BC. And they did not make any more contact with Kemet until 1994 AD to make sure that those Hebrews did not get any of Sirius's power.
Interesting.
They worked through the Dogons of Maui instead. And Maui became so wealthy, it had so much gold until it sent 200 ships over here down the Atlantic Ocean, packed with gold. Straight into the Americas of South America, because it had already thawed out 9,500 AD. So what you hear with regards to Montezuma, that is Abubakari from Maui. And the Marines sing that song, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. We will fight our nation's battle on the land and in the sea. And that's what they're talking about. Fighting against Montezuma, which is Abubakari, out of the king of Maui.
Right. Wow. Well, if I can ask a quick question, and I know it's probably in the book, and then I'll give the panel a chance to ask a question. Now, when we talk about the Black Nobility of Europe,
yes,
how did the identities get switched? So, meaning, like for instance, the melanated or Black King James turning into the white Queen. The white King James, Mary turning into the white Mary. How did those identities change, or was it really during that time period it was the melanated people all along and they just straight up lied and said they were white?
Well, the straight up lie comes from the image maker. Who is the image maker of America? The Jews of Hollywood.
Yeah.
They write the books. I call them the Hebrew priesthood as the
scribes.
Scribes, okay? The Hebrew scribes. Hebrew scribes have produced the information which has been absorbed by Western civilization. It's called Western civilization, particularly the Americas, because you have to remember the Caucasians could not read and write when they came out of those caves 500 years ago. So, and the idea of wanting to take over Europe from the black people, principally to Adam Weishaupt. Adam Weishaupt was a Jew in Bavaria, Germany.
Yeah, I know who he is. Okay.
The Illuminati. And what? 1776. 1776, you had the African Moors over here in America who had defeated the Black King George III in Britain, and they were attempting to set up America, known as the United States of America, with the first 7 black presidents, being the African Moors, who had used the Treaty of Morocco in order to have access to the Moroccan Navy and the Moorish Navy to defeat the British Navy. That was at the time when King George of Britain said the sun would never set upon the British Empire, and no one could defeat that British Navy. What these devils have done here is that they have skewed the history and have George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Paul Revere being the heroes of the War of 1776 to liberate America from England. That experience drove King George III insane. He had to go to the mental hospital for a period of time. Now, they did a movie of that, and they used, of course, a white gentleman as King George.
Right.
His wife, Queen Charlotte, is where Charlotte, North Carolina, gets its name from.
Right.
They use Helen Merrill. They use Helen Merrill with white hair. What they do is they take our history and they whitewash it and give you white images, and no black images whatsoever ever allowed on the black screen. With regards to Hollywood and regards to the documentary that they do on Egypt. They do documentary on Egypt. There are only white Egyptians.
Right.
I saw one documentary where the people were black African, but you never were allowed to see their faces. The only thing you could see was from their feet up to their waistline. You could see their head. If the head was turned away from you, you can see the head in the back, shoulders, and torso. But that is the Hebrew scribe.
Got you.
Who controlled the literature, the magazine, the social media, the books, the academic institution from kindergarten up to your graduate level. And on Google, the images are of different. Looking for the image, for instance, of the black female Shakespeare, Amelia Massaro Lanier.
Mm-hmm.
You get all different types of faces of white women. Since Google has finally admitted that there was nobody named William Shakespeare that existed, instead it was a female that they call the Dark Shakespeare, a female by the name of Amelia Massaro Lanier, but they give you all white women as that particular sister. And somebody messed up because they left one black image of the sister there, pearls around her neck and pearls all through her hair as royalty. Slaves didn't wear pearls around their neck and pearl earrings, pearl dressing through their hair, because she was King James's cousin. And everything see how awesome we are. Everything that was attributed to William Shakespeare, she wrote. So that's one of the next books I'm working on right now.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to get done with that.
Shakespeare, a black female goddess.
Wow. So, and then, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
It was all about us, keeping us unconscious, broke, ignorant. Is a part of the drama that the Supreme Being personality of God had designed. So we were produced as a superhuman species. I guess the Supreme Being said, without any money, without any of those attributes, watch what they do.
Wow.
Watch what they do. They will be kept poor. They will be lied to. They will be lambasted. All the negative attributes from the adversary will be cast upon them. But even so with that, watch what they do. They are the truth and the light. They are the resurrection. And that's us.
Wow. So I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
And I'm just saying, too late now. We've already won.
I know that's right.
Law. Illuminati law.
Exactly. So just one last question, and then I'm going to ask if the panel, Sis Sandra, Brother Sean, and Brother Wendell have any questions. In the book, you came out swinging in the beginning, okay, because you made the statement about who Mary is, but you get a couple pages in, and you mention something. And I know you have so much knowledge going on that you mentioned it so smooth, but it was just devastating to me because the part I'm referring to, you said that Noble Drew Ali went to Europe, if I remember correctly, I think it was England, to get a charter. Scotland. Okay.
Yes.
So now explain that. What's that about? That just blew my wig back.
Okay, this the deal. White America is so racist, it would not let Noble Drew Ali or Prince Hall set up a Masonic science here because they would not give them a charter. They had to go to Scotland, to the Scottish Rites, Temple Masons, and get a charter, both of them. My mother is an Eastern Star.
Mm-hmm.
Her oldest brother is a Master Mason. I came up among all that.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's oldest sister is an Eastern Star. With Cherokee on this side, my father's Ethiopian on my other side.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the experience that we have had. We created the science, and yet the Jews run the science in Western civilization, And the Jews would not even allow black people to have a charter here in America. They had to go to Scotland and get a Scottish Rite Freemason charter in order to set up the Masonic science here. But they only have a lousy 33 degrees coming out of Kemet. When you graduated from that pyramid school, you had to have 1,080 degrees. There's only 9 numbers, so when you eliminate,
it's 9. That's right.
Malachi York was over here teaching false information, because I heard his people out there teaching, and they was teaching that there was 72 degrees of knowledge.
They were.
How can there be 70? Okay, 72 makes 9. How can there be 72? That's only That's only 360 twice. You have to do 363 times. You have to do 360 degrees of the circle, 360 degrees of the square cube, and 360 degrees of the triangle, the pyramid. And this is the one that they left out.
That makes sense.
Trinity is always Trinity. You have to do 3 trinities in order to come out with the proper numbers. And they were only doing 2. Coming out with erroneous information. Again, if you're trying to teach the people and you're honorable, do your homework. Don't be lying and having the people worship our worst enemy. Nibiru is our worst enemy. And he and his people are here pushing Nibiru. Brother trying to tell me that I have scales on my arm. And my arm is so smooth, I don't even have any hair on it. I mean, black people are reptilian. Black people are reptilian. You see, the 4th dimensional reptilian demon can easily get into your body, into your mind, because the 4th dimension can go easily through a 3rd dimensional physical form, just like the spaceship that Tahuti or Thoth had when he came from Atlantis to Kemet. He says he tells about it in his book known as Thoth of the Atlantean Emerald Tablets. Yep. He had to wait for 3 days until he thought that the energy had settled down. But when he tried to land the spaceship kept going through the planet. Because they were coming from a 6th dimensional existence to what had dropped from there to a 3rd dimensional existence on the planet. And the people in Kemet were running around in circles as if they were insane because the consciousness dropped so radically. So the spaceship went right through the planet and remained on the interior. And they remained on the interior. He says, and they would put on various costumes to try to look like the people on the surface so they wouldn't be obvious as beings coming from another world. Atlantis is at a 6th dimensional level of existence, getting ready to go to a 7th dimensional level of existence when it fell. So people were dressed in space outfits, skin suits, as opposed to robes like the Hebrew scribes and the Hebrew priests. They can't fly any spacecraft. You cannot fly spacecraft and all that garbage. When you see beings who fly spacecraft, they're in tight skin suits. Facilitates your ability to move through the energy of space. Yeah, see that the difference between knowing what are earthbound demons, which is what these suckers are. They're earthbound demons. They don't. It's impossible for them to fly spacecraft because they do not have the silicate and the crystal compound in their physical structure, which means the bones would just shatter and the skin and flesh would fly off their goddamn bones. They try to move into outer space. They take you past the atmosphere so you're weightless and they tell you you're in outer space. It's a con job. Nothing but a con. The truth will set you free.
Wow.
So you gain knowledge and gain truth, and then that liberates you. Then you know that how universe universes are created, right? But how matter is created, let alone universes. I wrote a post on Facebook about that today. How matter comes in. It's in the book, remember?
Yep, I remember.
The creating of matter. The creating of matter. Matter comes from the black. They use those jet black star makers and star masters who literally think universes into existence. Because it's that melanin that you had, that we have, which has to be an adhesive to the melanin which exists in the creation itself. Whiteness doesn't have melanin because there is no adhesive. It is impossible for whiteness to create matter. The melanin in existence is known as neutrinos. It is the tiniest substance of blackness that exists. That's why you have 100 trillion neutrinos passing through your body every second. That melanin which you have can enable us to call things into existence out of what we call thin air, but it's not thin air. It is the neutrinos that exist in that air. And you can transform those neutrinos from spirit into matter. But they go through that black fluffy stuff before it materializes. So I call the post that I was doing, the series, Black Fluffy Stuff. Oh, they didn't know what that meant. They didn't.
Well, they gotta get the book because you go into very good detail, and I mean I just can't say enough. So like I said before he came on, the book it talks about the black nobility, but he's going into the deep metaphysics, science, and true story or origins of where everything came from. You have a question in the chat room. It says, can you tell this person where they can find the charter that Noble Drew Ali got from Scotland? So in other words, is there any resource? Okay. So there you have it. You may have to go to Scotland. You may try to look it up on Google. That's interesting.
On Google, yeah. See, I don't deal with the Masonic science.
Okay.
You don't need it. It's obsolete already. 33 degrees. If you're not gonna give me 1,080 degrees, don't waste my time.
Right.
It allows you piss poor 33 degrees, and they use that 33 degrees to create the entire Western civilization.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, that's an insult. The 33 degrees.
Walk around. That's only because Pythagoras only spent 7 years studying in Greece. So everything America relates to, they don't relate to the Africa and Egypt. They related to the Greeks, and the Greeks had no knowledge. That's why Plato said that the knowledge of the Greeks is like garbage. It's not complete. Squalor and garbage. So he spent 22 years living in Africa. So white race is America and white race is Western civilization. Whenever they talk about anything of importance, they always go to Greece because they're white races. Right. They're not going to tell you where the Greeks got their information from.
Okay. So,
go ahead.
540, I see you. I'm just going to real quick give the panel a chance. Brother Wendell, did you have any questions, comments for Brother Morse at this moment before? Because I know he dropped a lot. So I'm trying to give people an opportunity. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I have my phone on mute. Yeah.
Okay.
I got one question that I came to. I came to the conclusion that has to be the seat of power, the reason everything wants to come here.
Okay, brother, I just explained to the sister when I was talking that this planet is the 12th living library of the entire universe. It's the most valuable people. real estate in the entire universe. Not just want to come here, want to own it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You haven't gone far enough. They don't just want to come here. Particularly demon forces, they want to own it. And to murder everybody on the planet so that there's nobody here but them and their kind.
Yeah.
And why do they want to own it? Because it's just close to the wormhole. That's the most active wormhole in this galaxy, which enables beings in their spacecraft to shortcut their trips to different galaxies. The dark side of the moon is like New York City.
Yeah. Yeah.
The white boy doesn't know that, and if you know it, he's not going to tell you about it. And the Americans got kicked off the moon. They wouldn't even allow them to stay up there. What happened is that because they are dealing with 900 different ETs and trading with them due to the fact that this planet has so many valuable resources, the secret space program, which has business being conducted with 900 different black ETs, have allowed for some of those ETs to grant them permission to use some of their area on the moon so that they can have a working space there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
go ahead.
And then to bring it closer to home is they've lied about other areas of the planet being the most richest in resources when it's actually North and South America. That's why everybody wants to come over here.
Oh yeah, well see, what they call America, or as the Anunnaki call it, Amkara, and they put it under an ice age for 24,000 years. Don't forget that. They put it under an ice age to prevent anybody from being able to come here so they can have it for themselves. And that ice age was down from 24,000 years ago until 9,500 BC. And that's when they began to thaw it out. But the beings who were living here went to live inside the planet at that time. You find the archaeologists are finding tremendous architecture on the interior of the planet, but well beneath the surface, where people had to set up their civilizations inside the planet because the outside was being covered in ice. And there were spacecraft civilizations.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. The planet is valuable, but it's a planet that was produced for melanated beings, but also there were the 5 races that were produced in Kara was the black, the brown, the red, the yellow, and the white. But the white only has 2 strands of DNA. So when you read the book from Ashana Dean, the Voyager, it's very clearly explained that it would take that white 2-stranded DNA being hundreds of thousands of incarnations before it could acquire a 4-stranded DNA level to enable it to go through the Stargate. And if you listen to Alex Collier in his videos on YouTube, the Arcturians have told them that the white race is the weakest of all the races. This is a melanated creation. But the adversaries have flipped the script, and they've taught you through the Darwin concept. That's why they turn that Charles Darwin thing. The rise to white with blonde hair and blue eyes that is superior, which is where the Hollywood blonde comes in. It's the blonde-headed Superman, the blonde-headed Germanic Aryan Superman. That's all related to that Darwin-esque theory. But see, they had to murder the Dr. Roy Pye because he showed you how they did it. He showed you how the anthropologist took a human body and sketched all these heads, Homo erectus, Homo sapien, these Neanderthal, how they took all those heads and put those heads on top of a human body and photoshopped it. Those beings don't exist. And when he was touring with his video projections illustrating how they had done it, and his book became a bestseller, the Illuminati killed him with a dose of Illuminati cancer.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they take you out. They have physicians in the medical industry. They exist in all the aspects of Western civilization. So they have physicians that will give you enough cancer to make sure they take you off the planet.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Lord Pine. Yeah.
Dr. Yeah, everything you know is wrong, right? That's what he teaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything he teaches you, everything that they've taught you and that you think you know is wrong because they don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna. Let me see if Sis Sandra, did you have any questions or comments before we start opening up the line? I know.
Well, I'm so sorry. I have people coming because my sink is plugged up, and they were ringing the doorbell, and I was trying to put you guys on mute and change whatever. I was having problems. I apologize. I wanted to find out if I heard him correctly when Isaiah wrote his book. They translated it to be so passive and so non-threatening to the reptilians. But if you use the other words of the concordance and you get the right translation that he actually wrote, he said that he does not know this God Yahweh, and that Yahweh he hates and whatever, and that these reptilians are going to lose their cloaking, and you're going to smell their stench. And I was just I was just questioning if that's what he was saying, because I heard him say that Isaiah, I think he said Isaiah didn't know this Yahweh, because Yahweh came after the planet and the people were created, and he took the credit for it as far as I know of. And then when another thing, Akhenaten, he had there's an article or so I read about Akhenaten that he was not accepted by the people in Egypt, and he had ministers of his own that followed him out of Egypt that rewrote the scriptures the way that they are now. And I'm going to ask him about that, if that is what he's found to be truth. And one last question. When are the royals that are actually the royals of Europe going to return to ruling like they were supposed to? And with that, I yield.
Okay. Now, I need you to find I missed the first name that you mentioned. When you were talking about the person that did the writings. Can I be given that name again?
The person who Akhenaten was the pharaoh that they threw.
I know that, but the very first person that you mentioned,
Isaiah.
The very first name. You mentioned Isaiah. That was the very first name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Isaiah. Okay, I got you. Isaiah is pissed.
Yeah, he's pissed.
He's pissed right now. Just because he didn't do the ascension. See, he came from the 18th dynasty in Kemet, and that's how these Hebrew priests could get the remote viewing, and they discovered that he belonged to the 18th dynasty coming out of Kemet. So that's when they really got busy on wanting him to go and spy on the African Egyptians and find out what they were doing in order to communicate with a higher dimensional being. See, if you're in the 18th dynasty in Kemet, which is the most powerful period in Kemet, coming out of that pyramid school in terms of the priesthood, you were supposed to become an ascended master. You were supposed to ascend, become what's known as an Adashi adept. Mm. He didn't make it. So he reincarnated again, and he reincarnated among those low-level Ibrus, the Hebrew scribes, who he said was tricking him no end. So they kept having him to channel. He channeled for 60 years for them. and they were telling him that it had meaning. What he was doing was necessary. It had meaning. Then they wanted him to go and spy and find out what technology the African Egyptians were using in order to communicate with the higher dimensional beings. And so, being a part of their order and trying to be honorable to them, he went and spied on the African Egyptians because, again, he knew how to materialize his physical body, which is known as morphogenetic transportation, and go and remote view what others are doing. And he found out that they were using the crocodile, because the crocodile has that long spinal, that long kundalini energy. And that's the energy that they were using to move themselves to different dimensions so that they could communicate with a higher dimensional being. And he, in turn, brought that technology to the Hebrew scribes of what was known as the Temple of Solomon, the Knights of the Temple of Solomon, Knights Templars. The same Templars flag that the Jews, or the Israelis they call themselves, fly in Israel today. Because that Templar being, those Templar beings, were the beings on the planet Nibiru that Lucifer led for 200,000 years. That's how Yahweh was familiar with that particular bloodline, because he is from that bloodline. The Templar bloodline comes from the bloodline of the first fallen ones that fell 250 billion years ago, because they wanted a male creation as opposed to a female creation, which Prime Creator had done. They wanted whiteness to dominate as opposed to blackness, which is melanin. Whiteness has no adhesiveness to it. It's not creator, it's a destroyer instead. They wanted a square cube as opposed to the spiral curve. Well, energy can move much faster moving in a circular fashion in a spiral curve than it can in a square, because it has to stop at each corner. So the ridiculousness of the Templars is what produced them as albinos, which is what Yahweh Jehovah is. He's an albino reptilian humanoid on the planet Nibiru. Now his father Lucifer ran the Templars for 200,000 years. What happened is that Memnosis from Arcturus is the one who's a sixth-dimensional being, and he jacked up Lucifer, admonishing him for doing what he had been doing. And he dragged him before the Galactic Federation to confess all of his evil doings. And in so doing, the Galactic Federation, they heard Lucifer so that he had spoken from the heart, and they gave him redemption. Once he was given redemption, he turns around, okay, what can I do to help out? What can I do to help destroy those Draco reptilians? He, in turn, sent 6 Christ beings here as warriors to destroy the reptilian humanoids over a period of time. One of those Christ beings was Muhammad. Muhammad is not a prophet. Muhammad is a Christ being. Buddha, Quetzalcoatl, Yeshua. This is Lucifer's doing. This is why they badmouth Lucifer here today. It's the Jews and the Hebrew scribes who badmouth Lucifer because he's the father of Yahweh, who goes by the name of Natus, which spelled backwards is Satan. And he talks about his evil sons, Brahma and Jehovah, Yahweh, in the book known as the Voyagers by Ashyanadin. So that is the track record there. But with regards to the idea of Isaiah, knowing these things, Isaiah knows very well who Yahweh Jehovah is, because he's the one who tells you, do not read that Bible, because it allows Yahweh Jehovah to have become a conduit into your mind. And he can go into your mind and deceive you and have you worship. The cross is a satanic symbol. The cross was used by the early Satanists here on this planet. Going back to Cronus from Saturn, who would eat his children because it was prognosticated that his sons would replace him. And what he would do, he would eat all this firstborn. So that was what became the belief system of the ancient Mesopotamians, coming out of ancient Babylon, coming out of Sumer, where the Hebrews were dropped off here from the planet Nibiru when they came into here 2,760 BC. It's 5,777 in today's calendar, which is the Jewish calendar of today as of October the 5th, 2016, which is when they did the destruction of the tornado that killed 800 Haitians by using the HARP technology, the United States scientist community. They did tremendous destruction here, and they're continuing to do mass destruction here. Their agenda, when they were dropped off in Sumer, was to kill off the planets on the earth and start with the blacks because they are the strongest. Because the agenda of the Anunnaki is to steal planet Earth. Now, when they talk about global warming, which is happening, but the destruction happens on a much greater degree when the Nibiru comes into our solar system, because the planet Nibiru spins in the opposite direction than the other planets in our solar system going around the sun. That causes tremendous destruction in our solar system, period. It is chaotic. That's why it's known as the Great Destroyer. Planet X, it goes contrary to the normal rotation. The Saturnalian cult kept the cross going because it's their symbol. It's the Roman Catholic Church. Looking at, I don't know if you've ever known it, but the video, which was the movie regarding the paintings of Leonardo da Vinci, who, by the way, was supported by the black family known as the Medici family of Italy. They produced the Italian Renaissance. It was the House of Medici which supported Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci completely. They did not have to work a day in their life. You have to realize when black people ran the banks, we were the power structure. We were everything. So the House of Medici supported the arts, and they paid for everything with regards to Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. And when the church was out to murder Galileo, they hid Galileo in their castle and would not allow the church to come anywhere near Galileo. We were the power structure of Europe, you know? We need to know these things. So all these names that they throw out, these names are important because black people were either these beings or black people protected those beings, and black people helped to create those talented beings that Europe was able to matriculate.
Wow.
It's always about us.
Wow. Okay, sis, I'm going to go to 540 because they've been holding almost for 30 minutes. So let me go to 540. Thanks for being patient. 540, your line is open.
Okay, good evening to you and to your guests and to everyone else. My name is Jabbar, and I was the guy in the chat room who asked about the charter that Noble Drew Ali supposedly received from Scotland, and I couldn't quite hear the answer because the guest was breaking up. It sounded like to me that he said that it was the question that I asked was an insult to him.
Oh, no. I was just saying that they're so racist here in America is why he had to go to Scotland. Now, the Masonics, brothers and sisters, they may know, because I don't deal with the Masonic order. They may know more about what you would have to do in order to access that particular information. I just know that they would, that my parents were involved in the Masonic science. I did not get involved in it. It will terminate with the lousy 33 degrees that the Hebrew scribes aspire to maintain. George H.W. Bush is a 44-degree Mason on the demonic side, on the infernal side. It goes to 33 degrees on the positive side, which they have used to do their dirt and produce the negative energy, which causes their destruction through the karma that they have created. It was the murderers of John F. Kennedy who were all Masons in the FBI, the Secret Service, the Mossad. The video Step Down on YouTube. Well, the Secret Service men who ride on the limousine are on a platform on the limousine, and before John F. Kennedy's assassination, when the limousine makes a right-hand turn to go down what is the State Street in Texas, they all step off. The Mossad shoots the passenger behind the driver in the arm. When he reaches over to grab his arm, it gives a clear shot for William Greer, the driver of the limousine. Senator Convey is the one they shot it in the wrist. And when he bends over, because it's a three-tiered limousine, when he bends over to grab his wrist, William Greer, with a special CIA, turns to his right and uses his left hand to shoot John F. Kennedy in the head. Okay? So it was known as the 1, 2, 3. John F. Kennedy was a Roman Catholic. The Masons, through the Knights Templars, had been burned by the Roman Catholic Church. Jacques de Molay was their leader. They burned them because the Knights Templar were out in the Middle East, which is really North Africa, murdering people and stealing their land and stealing their artifacts and putting their artifacts onto ships and sending it back to the Roman Catholic Church. Well, they couldn't send the land back, so what happened? It was Saladin who made war on the Knights Templar and defeated them and snatched all that land back for the North Africans. This infuriated the Roman Catholic Church, who was Masonic, who still is Masonic, and they put out an edict that the Knights Templars should be killed on the spot. And they used the Knights of Malta, which is what they have today, to do that killing. The Queen of England is the Knights of Malta, and her crown is the Maltese Cross, which is the Maltese Cross. Humphrey Bogart did a movie in ancient times on the Maltese Cross. And the Maltese Cross is looking down on the pyramid from the aerial view. And the corners of the pyramid are just open a bit more to disguise it so you don't know that it's looking down upon the pyramid. And that becomes known as the Maltese Cross by the Knights of Malta. Malta is located where all the different areas of Europe congregate just north of Turkey. See, that's why we need to know that black people don't have any knowledge. And they meet underground. When I say they, the power elite, the Queen of England, the President of the United States, the Bilderbergers, the Knights Templar, all the elites, they all have their meetings, their annual meetings in Malta, in Malta's underground. Because that's the force that rules the Holy Trinity. But if the Holy Trinity for the elite is what? All the non-profit corporations, privately owned corporations. The Vatican City, they all have a black man's penis, the obelisk. City of London has a black man's penis, the obelisk. Washington, D.C. has a black man's penis, the obelisk. And on all the gravestones of Western civilization, on top of the graves, there's a black man's penis. Why? The erection. Resurrection. That black man's penis that they have symbolizes the god Osiris, where Isis could find all the parts of his body that Set had chopped up, but she could not find the phallus. So she constructed a phallus out of crystals and diamonds. We awesome.
Yeah, and brother, what you heard was when we were talking about the insult is the restriction of just a 33rd degree, when we know that what our sciences taught in ancient time, we had many more degrees than that. So that's what we were
1,080.
Right, 1,080.
Okay.
That's what we were referring to as an insult to only have 33 degrees.
33 degrees, okay. I mean, the reason why I asked the question was because I'm a Moorish American, and I had heard that Noble Drew Ali went to England or Scotland, but I never knew why. And when he said went to
Noble Drew Ali,
the charter, then that
that's right.
That kind of
made sense. They were so racist here, they would not give black people a charter here.
Yeah. So okay.
Noble Drew Ali and my birthday are the exact same birthdays. January the 8th. Okay. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah. So he's very much in my heart. Okay? We have to learn how to love one another. We are a family of light. Okay? And we need to coach all these low-level differences. And not, because when I came up, and people didn't like the Moorish Americans in the community, the black Christians. But it was the Moors in America that I learned these things that I know from as a foundation. My very first book that opened my eyes was Nature Knows No Color. And then 100 amazing facts about the Negro, okay, which were in a Moors bookstore that I passed every single day, going back and forth to grade school. So when you begin to go into that store, and see what existed and buy the books and sit home and become an avid reader and study those books and find out about J.A. Rogers. And then when I was a junior at School of Music in New York City with a full scholarship, I paid for everything, and gave me a check every single week because I was the best that they had in the school in the department that I was studying under. Where I lived was only 2 blocks away from J. Rogers in New York City on 122nd Street and Morningside Avenue. So you see how the universe works?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do things. Do things.
I don't.
See.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I know I'm just saying you're on the right track. You're on the right track. Know that the brothers and sisters don't need religion. See, the Moors trying to go and get involved with what they call Islam. I went to a Moorish section here in Atlanta, and every 10 minutes it was Islam. You know who Allah is? First of all, are you Muslim?
No, I'm not Muslim.
Okay, we don't have to worry about that. But just so that you will know, because lots of Moors are Muslims, okay? Allah.
Yes, where that?
His correct name is Alalu. Alalu wrestled with Anu on the planet Nibiru over this planet. Over who would own this planet. And Allah lost. And because he lost, he got pissed. And he stole nuclear technology from the Anunnaki and jumped into a spaceship and headed for planet Earth. Of course, the military police from Nibiru, they pursued him. And when they came here, he told them that he had discovered gold. Well, the Anunnaki needed gold desperately because go around the planet Sirius B, and as albino reptilian humanoids, they can't stand to live on the surface of their planet. They live underground in their planet. And then you have Sirius A, and you have Sirius C. So they have 3 major powerful suns standing down upon their planet at the same time. Sirius B and C are the tiniest, and Sirius A is 10 times the size of our sun. And when Sirius B and C travel around Sirius A, when they meet one another, one's going perpendicular, and one's going horizontal, they switch directions. That creates tremendous energy. Everything in the universe is about energy. So the entire Sirius star system, where we have the racial identity from, which produces all the Christ beings in our universe, is extremely powerful. That's why everybody wants this planet. Masonic science into 1,080 degrees from Kemet, not 33 degrees. Noble Drew already could only get charters that would go for them up to 33 degrees. So the Black Masons here in Western civilization, their knowledge is limited. They don't have the cosmic and galactic to the degree that they could with 1,080 degrees. But what they do have is the science which enabled them to put all of the governmental structures which existed in Western civilization together. America was put together by the Moors. Starting with John Hanson. The first 7 presidents, the first 15 before George Washington, but the first 7 of those 15 were the black presidents. They could only be in office for 1 year. George Washington elected under what they call the congressional presidency, which was a 4-year term. But John Hanson is the one who gave George Washington a commission into his position as a general. White racist America is so white racist until it erases those 7 presidents out of existence, those 7 African Moorish presidents out of it. It was the African Moors who defeated King George III in England because they had the treaty from Morocco. It was the Moorish Moroccan Navy that kicked England in the butt. Defeated. George Washington had never fought a battle in his life. How are they going to defeat the British Navy and the British military when they were saying that the sun would never set upon the British Empire? They were that awesome. They go out and conquer the entire world. So how George Washington going to defeat that? It was the African Moors that defeated that. The African Moors was the one who were the military and the knights of the royal families of Europe. Nobody could defeat them. You need to know these things so you can kick white boy in the butt here, verbally. Because he lies. You know.
Right.
Give me my Moors anytime. They sure saved my life.
Yeah. Just so you all know, we Moors, now, all Moors, we don't all think the same and believe in the same things, but the Moors that I am associated with, we have reestablished our government, and we're lawfully chartered and incorporated.
Yes.
And currently we are filling different governmental positions. We are passing laws on behalf of our people.
Yes.
We have judges. We're trying to establish our police forces throughout the United States.
Right.
So eventually, some point in time, you all will hear more about the government. And like I said, we're lawfully chartered and incorporated.
Yes. All right. The Morris sons you can. My name is Morse.
Okay. Right.
I hear you talking. It's
been a pleasure listening to you. I'm going to keep listening. I'm going to mute out and down and continue to listen.
Okay. Thank you, brother. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Oh. Okay. Family, if anyone has a question for Brother Morse, press *1 to get in the queue. And in the meantime, Brother Sean, I know you didn't get an opportunity because you wanted to make sure that the brother that just asked this question got an opportunity. Did you have any questions or comments that you wanted to bring up at this time?
Yeah. Greetings, Brother Morris.
It's spiritual. Is your name Sean?
Yeah.
Okay. Blessings to you.
How long have you been writing this book?
Well, I wanted to be a writer all my life. Okay, I just knew I would be a writer, so I studied to become a playwright. I read everything that I could put my hands on from Western civilization in terms of the various plays. I read the European iconoclasts, the classical playwrights, the American playwrights. It was okay. It was okay during the time. It worked for me because I was studying acting at the same time. So that's where I thought I would end up fulfilling my plan. We come in here with a plan, and you want to maintain the plan as you grow into maturity with your physical and your mental intact. After becoming involved in the knowledge of the playwriting structure, it was time for me to maintain my financial position as a draftsman. which allowed me to make a large sum of money as a youngster coming out of high school. I used that money source to educate myself in the theater. And I said, okay, my plan is still working. Now I'm in the theater. I can write theater plays. However, what happened is I have an acute sense of love and respect for the melanated female body.
Mm-hmm.
And I became very much attracted to that through the dance world. To look at the dancers, the black dancers. I'm from New York City. So there are tons of black dancers in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Alvin Ailey's company. When I was coming here, Chuck Davis just, Olatunji. And I found out I spent a lot of time going to the dance rehearsals, going to see dance performances. And I was at least about 21 years old. But I said, then I picked up, you're not too young to take some classes. And so then I got involved in taking dance classes. And before I know it, because I was so good at what I was doing, I was getting scholarships everywhere, which means I didn't have to pay for acting classes. And the dancers were fucking beautiful. I had the acting training. I knew about all the playwrights. So I said, well, let me experience this dance thing. Before I knew it, I was getting a full scholarship to Juilliard School of Music and to the Metropolitan Opera, ballet school. And then I became the star of the school. And they gave me a check every week, so I didn't have to worry about working. I said, well, my goodness, I've been able to study plays, get involved as an actor, do the plays on the stage, and now I'm involved as a dancer. See, you want to keep adding on. You don't want to stop. But the formal training that I had as a draftsman gave me a knowledge of structure. So being a Capricorn, I'm highly organized, so I could put all that together. And then I just continued as a dancer traveling all over the world. I got a job working with a show called Black Nativity, which Langston Hughes had put together. And Alvin Ailey, my friend, got me the lead dance role in that particular production. That took me to every single European country in Western civilization, as well as Scandinavian country that exists. So what I did is I stayed behind because I could dance at the various opera companies that they don't have in America, but Europe is saturated with them. And then I could begin to see all those beautiful black statues they have all over Europe. You would never see those things in America. They're all over Europe because Europe was controlled by black people for 45,000 years. So my knowledge began to expand, and I had put together, once I was in Europe, I started putting together material because I was a member of the Black Panther Party. So I became their international photographer for the Black Panther Party. That led me to Cuba. Fidel Castro paid everything for me in Cuba. In Cuba, I met Eldridge Cleaver. So I was a devout Black Panther member, and stayed there for a minute, married a Cuban female, made my way back to Scandinavia, find out, okay, that I've been in Europe long enough, follow the impulse, jump on an airplane, go back to America. When I got back to America, I was here for a month, and I got a Broadway show. So I had not started writing yet, because I was doing all these things in terms of meeting major celebrities. My cousin is Bill Bojangles Robinson. I was doing Broadway shows. Jane Fonda sent for me, to meet with her. I didn't know that she was having sex with Huey Newton, and he got busted, so she thought she could get with me. And she took me. We won the Tonys from the show that I was in. It was Pearly. She and I jump in a limousine. We go over to the Waldorf Astoria. She introduced me to her father, Henry Fonda. He embraced me warmly. I came up through the performing arts, so it didn't matter what color you were. we transcended all that because you were making big time money, and you have to worry about living in the poor ghettos. I was living in duplex penthouses while my other acting friends were living in these apartments throughout New York City. I had the duplex penthouses. That's when I began to, I think, sit down and start writing because I was working with a movie called The Education of Sonny Carson. While I was living luxuriously in New York, I was doing movies after movies all over the place. I got good in, so you get in good with the various people behind the scenes. So you can always get jobs not by what you know, but by who you know.
Exactly.
So that kept me functioning in New York on a very high level financially. And the universe is just giving me a charmed life. Here I've traveled all around the world as a performing artist. I'm back in New York, working Broadway. I leave out of Broadway, right out of Broadway, I'm working motion pictures because I was smart enough to become a SAG member before they closed the doors, so you couldn't buy a SAG card. You have to have somebody, you have to have a major movie to take you in before you can get a SAG card. I bypassed all that. I got mine early. So once I was in California, that's what happens. I was in California, and I had done all these other things. I studied accounting. I got a degree as an accountant. I went and studied to become a filmmaker. And because I had all these abilities, I thought now it's time for me to sit down and attempt to put together a book. So the first book I attempted to put together was called Cosmic Gangster versus the Reptilians. It was a book of hip-hop poetry. I didn't know my book would become a bestseller. It was the first book I'd ever written. I go off to Ghana because some Nigerians had given me thousands and thousands of dollars. I go find up to Ghana. I'm hanging out in Ghana, and my book is becoming a bestseller, which I didn't know about. And the woman I paid to organize the book, to edit the book, and I never told her to publish the book. I wanted her to copyright the book and edit it for me, and she published it. And then she didn't tell me that the book was a bestseller on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, whoa! I didn't find out that until I was dating an Indian attorney, and she said, "Well, you must be famous. Your book is all over the place." But then when I tried to get the royalties from it, the woman had died. So now you're talking about probate. Probate, you got to pay a lawyer millions of dollars to go through probate because it's so long and so. I just said, forget it. I'll take the law. As a filmmaker, I'll write movies and screenplays and I'll make millions of dollars.
Yeah, but you're re-releasing that book, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Yes, I'm doing that now.
Okay.
That's what's on the platform presently. But it's 1,000 times better than what she had edited and put together and had put it onto Amazon.
Right.
This one I'm doing now is my book that I'm putting together. I do the editing on it. And it's as far as I'm concerned, the cover and the book itself is 1,000 times more attractive and interesting than what she just took a lot of the poems that I given her, the hip hop poetry. And she put it all together, edited it, and got it onto Amazon. So what I'm doing now, I'm doing ebooks now. It's ebooks can go further, faster. And you don't have to invest any money in having a hardback cover or paperback cover.
Right.
In order to get them sold, you gotta carry them out with you, and that's a way. That's no. Ebooks is the way to go.
Right, which makes it more economical also. Okay, you have another call, 404, and before you leave, I definitely want to talk about your other upcoming projects too, because you have a lot going on, and then we need to discuss the 5 questions. So let me bring on 404.
Okay, nice talking to you, brother.
404, your line is open. Maybe not. 404.
I can see when we start touring, baby, we're gonna be.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Greetings, family.
Greetings, sis. We can hear you now.
Great. Good evening, family. The question that I have for Mr. Donaldson, is it correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. The question that I have for you, because I've been watching some of your videos with my grandson, and one of the questions he had, and I really couldn't answer much of it for him, is how these superheroes, how are they intertwined with a lot of our history, and as we as a people, because I know they use a lot of the superheroes because they mimic a lot of our ancestors, and then they turn them into their own superheroes. So how is that affiliated with the information that you have? Could you explain that to me so I could back up him?
Okay, that's a very easy one, sweetheart. We were created as super gods from the 5th dimension. All of what they're doing, they're just mimicking the abilities that we demonstrated for the entire universe for hundreds of millions of years. People were coming to this planet, not only from this universe, but the Galactic Federation governed over 1 million universes. We were created 560 million years ago. For 450 million years, or let's say around 250 million years, we operated as the newest prototype in this galaxy, because we were created from the best DNA and the best genes that the genetic engineers from the Galactic Federation can locate in the galaxy and put together as an experiment. They wanted to experiment with creating a superhuman species that could walk through walls, call things into existence out of the ethers, take the sun rays and condense the sun rays, transform them into anything we desired, fly without airplanes, fly without spaceships, and we were so awesome. We just fly around a spaceship, particularly the gigantic ones, as they were flying, and then sit on top of it as they were flying, and fly off of it and loop around it several times, and then go on to somewhere else. So that's what happened in terms of setting a precedent for what super beings can do. Caucasian imitates us on the concept. They just mimic anything that we do. The Batman costumes were taken from the concept of the knights in Europe. You can see the exact same outfits worn by the knights in Europe as the royal military and the royal police force of the royal families in Europe. But there's nothing new under the sun. The beast just puts white faces onto it, as opposed to it being a black origin. So they do that, as we said, through all our culture, from our music to our superheroes, etc., etc. They're envious of us because they cannot be us. That's when they came up with that 3/5 of a man. That we were akin to the monkey family. What the reality of today illustrates is that on the walls of the super rich, they have themselves as the Germanic family from the house of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha being the infantile humanoid baby of the rhesus and gibbons monkeys that were genetically engineered into gorillas. And then the Zeta Reticuli Gray handing that half human, half gorilla baby back to the mother gorilla to nurse and suckle. It took the Zeta Reticuli Grays 65 genetic alterations to transform that German monkey humanoid into the gray flannel suit wearing Caucasian that you have today. Even John Lear, whose father designed the Lear's jet, speaks about that 65 genetic alterations, which went Zeta Reticuli Grays. The elite white people know their story because they have these paintings all over the walls of their mansions and the castles that they live in that they stole from us in Europe. They have the rituals beneath the surface in the basement where they eat the humans. And they call up the reptilians who have given them the 13 bloodline family powers to shapeshift back and forth between a human and a reptilian. Arizona Wilder explains all that in her dissertations. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, we're the superhumans. Nobody can do what we do. We have a 12-stranded DNA system. They don't. They have a 2-stranded DNA system. We're the only humans on this planet that have a 12-stranded DNA system. The African American is a mixture of the black, the red, and the brown in the Americas. We're even different from some of the Africans in that respect. But what happens is that they just by people from all over, from Madagascar, from Western Asia, from Cape Town. Have you ever seen the black people in Cape Town in South Africa? They look identically to the black people here.
Okay. The only other question that I have, I'm sorry, my brother. The only other question that I have for myself is that because our bodies are updating and we're going from a carbon 12 to carbon 7, does that mean now as our bodies are updating and changing, we're going to be able to do more, we're going to be able to go into a more crystal being?
What's happening is that we've been bombarded with a tremendous amount of frequencies, which will enable us to slide back and forth to dimensions.
Okay.
Don't worry about getting stuck in this low-level 3-dimensional consciousness. We're going to be sliding all the way up to the 9th dimension. We're going to start sliding all the way up to the 5th dimension, by probably, as the Palladian said, by 2030. Tremendous destruction between now and 2027 in order to get rid of all the garbage. And by 2028, they said the dust will start to settle. And by 2030, you won't even know this planet. But by that time, all the aliens will have been undisclosed. Full disclosure is what the beings that are calling, that know what's going on, are calling for. And I wish that the African American community would awaken and begin to see this reality of transformation taking place. It's still white folks. It's still Corey Good, David Wilcox, Jordan Maxwell, David Icke, Alex Collier, the conscious white community, who I learned from because they're all personal friends of mine. But I wish that the black community would awaken also. I find more beings are becoming awake on Facebook because of what I do with regards to putting up long posts, which I've been able also to copy and put into Word. And I found that I was counting today, there was 900 pages of material that accumulated within the past 7 years. That's enough for 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
See, but it's my brothers and sisters who I find on Facebook that I've been able to influence to become more curious about our story. We don't need it. We know what this beast has done. We need to stop wasting our time talking about this beast and what they've done, what they're doing, what they've done to us. No, their world is over. Begin to investigate your own story now. What you have done. And then you find how miraculous it is. Want to start going to school. Prime creator is subatomic. So when you sit down and you focus inwardly and get away from all those distractions are deliberately designed to rob your attention. Take your attention and put it into yourself so that you begin to investigate who you are, and you will be amazed at what you come up with, because your other selves will begin to communicate to you. They will begin to come and take you different places. I started young. They would come and get me when I was 6 or 7 years old. Take me to the little hole we had in the window that was up, and the cymbals and the drums and whatnot, just a beating, because we were partying, and I was in the parade. They were taking me in spaceships, going all kinds of places, and call my name so I would never be late for school. Call my name every day. I got to the point where I thought, why don't you talk to me? You just call my name. Let's have a conversation. And so that I begin to act out various roles to make sure that I had their attention. When I say that, I'm talking about higher dimensional beings, your higher self. You're being watched 24/7. You are never alone. You can never get away with anything. Everything you do is being documented by the planet itself in the Akashic records in indelible print, which means it cannot be erased. And this devil doesn't know these things. They think they're getting away with something by doing the low-level deceitful things that they're doing. But they do those things and it's their own karma, which defeats them. And we're eternal, immortal beings. We can never be defeated. There's no such thing as death. Because when you die to the physical body, you still have your astral body, but you don't want to get locked into the churches, because that religious thing will take your astral body to where you pray to go to. You pray to go to heaven. Heaven in this vernacular of Christianity is the dinner plate for the reptilians. Mm-hmm. You're praying to go to be eaten by them in terms of they're eating your astral body, because they're the ones who the religion refers to as the gods who came down from heaven and begot children of the daughters of men. Well, those words are being contaminated, because it's the heavens, and the heavens are nothing but the space in the galaxy and in the universe. And their heaven is where the planet Nibiru is located. And the planet Nibiru is controlled by Anu of the Anunnaki. And they eat human beings. So they design the religions so that the religions will act as a net, a gathering net, the way you throw a net into the ocean and gather fish. They don't have to come running after you when you pass out of here, but you're praying to go to them, and wherever your prayers and your desires are directed, that's where they take you, directly to the dinner plate of the. I like to play and say they take you so you can become their food source. Okay? So that's what the churches are about. They don't have a clue. They're pimping the people getting rich. But you probably know all that.
All right, sis. Well, thank you so much, sis.
No problem, sister. Peace and love.
Okay.
Peace and love to go.
Peace and love. All right. Peace and love, beloved. Okay. So press *1 to get in the queue if you have a question. for Brother Morse Donaldson. Now, brother, I do want to get through the other things that we had planned for tonight. So
I'm running on your clock. Go ahead.
Okay. So I wanted to know if you kind of wanted to go into the contest that you are going to do for 5 questions that you wanted to put out there for the people, and if they are able to ask these 5 questions. Number one, the 5 questions that you have, ideally enough, you went over, if folks was paying attention tonight, and I can't participate, I'm not going to participate in the contest, but I know you gave 3 answers tonight on this particular show. And
just trying to get,
and you also have this information on your Facebook page. So let's start with the contest. You know, you doing the contest for.
You're in charge, baby. You're in charge.
Okay.
You're the boss.
So what?
The females in charge.
So there is a contest for a couple people to win the book When Europe Was Black, and in order to win, you have to answer 5 questions correctly. He gave the answer to 3 of those questions tonight. Okay, so I'm going to read the 5 questions here in a second. And what we're going to do is you can email your answers either to Brother Morris on, if you're connected to him, on his Facebook page.
You're the boss, Lily. You are in charge.
Okay. So you can email the answer to Truth Uncompromised Facebook page. And we will announce the winners, and it's going to be on a first come, first served basis on a online book party that he is going to have for When Europe Was Black this up and coming Tuesday at 7 p.m. And we're going to do it here on Truth Uncompromised. So I'm going to read off the questions. So those of you that are interested in entering, you can take part in this. So the first question is, and again, he gave 3 of the answers tonight on this show. First question is, and I'm also going to post these questions on Truth Uncompromised Facebook page. Who did 9/11 and why? And it's not your typical answer that you think it is.
Not the one you hear on TV.
Exactly.
Saudi Arabia.
Question number 2. Do the people of Atlantis still exist, and where are they now? He gave the answer to that tonight on this show. Question number 3. In addition to giving physical birth, what is the next most important function of female sexual energy that benefits the entire universe? That's number 3. Number 4. With regards to males, what is the greatest deterrent to themselves and to everyone else? And then the 5th question is, what is the most important aspect of this planet? And he gave you the answer to that question tonight on the show. So again, we're going to kick off an online book party this Tuesday at 7 p.m. on same call-in number. I'll post the promotion on Truth Uncompromised Facebook page. If you want to enter the contest, email your answers to the 5 questions to Truth Uncompromised. We will announce those winners on the online book party. And you please join us, pick up the book as well, unless you're entering the contest and you think you have the answers. But either way, join us back here Tuesday to we'll go a little bit more into the book. It'll also be your opportunity to ask questions, and we're going to go into some of the excerpts from the book. I was kind of talking about it at the beginning of the show as well. So I did want to put that out to the family. So check Truth Uncompromised Facebook page for more details. Okay, so that's the first one I wanted to get down. So the next thing I wanted to make sure we discuss, you have several other projects coming in the pipeline. Did you want to tell the family about that? I know we talked about Cosmic Gangster a little bit, but I'll just let you take over. If you could just tell us what other projects you're working on that you're about to put out really in the next month or two.
Okay. Yes. Okay, the first one I would like to introduce you to is one that I call Atlanta's Greatest. Now, Atlanta's Greatest deals with the 5 black mayors of the city of Atlanta. I'm doing it in what I call a docudrama format because it's far more interesting than just a documentary. The city of Atlanta is a place that I don't know how I got here. The universe brought me here. I thought I was going to be going to Ghana, where I had lived before. And I said, well, I'm tired of California. What happened is that they closed down the public access television station to the entire state of California after I spoke on 3 shows that an associate of mine had. He lost his program, and the entire state of California lost any kind of program to public access TV. I guess I frightened them to death when I used white people to disseminate the information about the New World Order, the Bilderbergers, and the Jehovah's Witness group, along with the Knights of Templar, the Knights of Malta, and all the other clandestine operations that run Western civilization under the disguise of what they call our hidden masters. What I've learned through experience is that the powers that be, they become traumatized when you use their own Saxon and Anglo-Saxon to say the information that if you said by yourself, they would just dismiss you as being a racist. You know, he doesn't know what he's talking about, dealing in fairy tales nonsense. But when you use one of their own nationalities to disseminate the information. They can't handle it because they set the system up. So the system works that only information you accept is what's coming from the Jewish community or what's coming from the Anglo-Saxon community.
Yeah.
Nobody else is respected. This is the matrix that we live in. Nothing true about it. That's why I want to speak tonight on what we call the belief system. It's merely a system of belief. Not valid. None of it's true. It's just a system that people have designed in order to export their belief system and have everyone to subjugate themselves and to bow down to their belief system, which stands at the apex of intelligence. Their belief system, and particularly when you use males, because they care nothing whatsoever about what females have to say. They are truly alpha draconian reptilians. That's the DNA that they have. That's what they do when they operate. The alpha draconians are known to go out all through the universe, finding people that they can attack and make war upon, enslave them, and take their assets. When you saw the movie Avatar, that's what they were doing in Avatar. There were resources that they needed. The creators of Avatar, they got disrespected with the Hollywood Academy Awards. Why? Because it had been the highest grossing movie in the history of Hollywood. But it was talked about as being too Afrocentric.
Now that's interesting.
Yes. See, the Jew doesn't like to use the word African or black. But it comes with dark matter with regards to the fact that Bill Rubin said that the universe is 99% black. Oh, no, we can't call it black. Let's call it dark matter.
Dark matter, yep.
See? We're dealing with pure racists here who worship whiteness. That whiteness worshiping goes all the way back to 250 billion years ago with the fall of what they call the fallen angels, which is the fallen devils, which is a cartel set up by Metatron and Giovanni. Those are the principal culprits that caused the fall, which began to hate Prime Creator because Prime Creator did this as a black creation. It is the jet black Starlinkers, as I said before, and Star Masters, who think these universes into existence. It is their jet black melanin which becomes an adhesive to the energy which the universe has. Energy is everywhere. And they're able to make an adhesive between their melanin and that energy in the universe and move the frequencies of that energy up so quickly until it cauterizes. It becomes material. It becomes matter. Before it becomes matter, it goes through what is called fluffy stuff. That black fluffy stuff hardens, becomes dense matter. And then the ability of the humans is to be able to take that same mental energy and dematerialize that physical matter and transform it back to pure energy. This is why we are known as Christos. The term Christ means moving from the spiritual world into the material world, and then being able to move back again from the material world into the energy world by will. Let my will be done. Know that I am a God. And this is what black people have been stripped of today. The kind of willpower of knowing, the self-confidence. You're not going to get a Christ being has no punk laying around praying and being whipped and beaten and put up on a cross. No, that's nonsense. Christ beings are fierce warriors. They will kick your behind. And you come up to them in an adversarial manner, they'll just disappear and move into a higher dimension so you can't even see them. And then reappear again on the other side of the room. So Rise Calpurnius Uso and his family, they made up all that nonsense in what they call the Gospels. That is not a Christ being. There are trillions and trillions of Christ beings. There was Yeshua 12 here, and there was Yeshua 9, and there was our hobby. And then They left out of. They're still alive because they live on the sun inside of the planet, where the city of Agatha and Shambhala are located. And they fly space. The Christ beings are the first ones that created spaceships. Because once you bring density into creation, it's time, space, and matter, which gives you distances from A to B, B to C, etc. How do you get there? Christ beings decided they would condense the sun rays and create vehicles that could move at the speed of light so they could transport them from these one location to the next. That's why everybody wants to hang out with the Christ beings, because they produced the spaceships. Everybody wants to go with the Christ beings and hang out in their spaceships. And the devil took that and transferred that into dying and going to heaven and being with Jesus. He's a slick demon.
I tell you. So I know that you also have, and I'm not even sure if you released it this week. I know you've been on the go and I've been on the go, but you talked about actually in this show Shakespeare, Black Shakespeare. Oh, yeah. Okay, Shakespeare. So I know I'm not sure when you're releasing that particular book.
Okay, I'm writing 2 books simultaneously. Mm-hmm. I'm revitalizing Cosmic Gangster versus the Reptilian. At the same time, I am putting together the book, which I call Shakespeare, a Black Female.
That's gonna shake some folks up.
Gonna shake them.
I'm just saying.
Shakespeare, a Black woman, a Black female. Oh my goodness! Well, first I get them first. I do the videos put it on YouTube because of being a filmmaker. I know how to edit. Most of the pieces I see on YouTube, they suck because they're not edited. They be one image you see forever. No, you want to make it exciting. What I do is I take it and I'm going to put a video up first with the images of the writer, Amelia Barasso, Bassaro. Nandia, spelled N-A-N-Y-E-R. I'm sorry, L-A-N-Y-E-R. Lanier, L-A-N-Y-E-R. She's King James' cousin.
Yeah, that's like a bomb.
She's a normal sister, but she got her white beads on with your pearls. People string of pearls around her neck. So now you know where you got those pearls from the sorority university.
Got you. Yes, I got it. I got the connect.
She has the pearl earrings on. She has the pearls all designed through her hair. Yeah, that's the true Shakespeare. And she wrote all those things, those stories. Just like the Alexander Dumas. Handsome black brother.
The Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers. He wrote all those things, all those movies that white folks in Hollywood made and left us out of, okay? And those characters, D'Artagnan and all those episodes, that was all written by Alexander Dumas as black people, Europe. All those sword fightings and whatnot, all that. See, what Hollywood has done is taken black people's culture and superimposed white images on it and got paid kind of money, made millions of dollars from taking our culture and selling it to white America in white face while labeling us as being primitive, savage slaves.
Right.
Because all the slave ships were owned by Jewish families. Every single slave ship, when you do that research, that every single slave ship was owned by a Jewish family. It was the union between Jews and the Saxons. That is the deadliest mixture in existence. And that Columbus was a Spanish Jew. That's why you have Columbus Day and Columbia University. And what else? Columbia Broadcasting System.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, don't forget that now.
Yeah, that's important.
Jews are at the top of the ladder, and none of them go to the same synagogue. In other words, if you're not Spanish Jew and you're German Jew, you can't go to the Spanish synagogue. You have to know your adversary, okay?
Wow, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So if you could just, I know the other one that you're re-releasing, Cosmic Gangster.
Cosmic Gangster, the Reptilians.
Yes. So if you could just.
Okay, now you know what's ideal about that book?
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman just is about to have a smash, right?
Right.
Cosmic Gangsters are 6 Wonder Women. From different nationalities. You have the African American.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm.
Female. And you have the Swedish Cosmic Gangster. You have the Chinese, Asian Cosmic Gangster. Okay? You have the Ethiopian African.
Mm-hmm.
So we go through the various nationalities, and they all work together because they're all trained by Professor Mo at the Series B University.
Mm-hmm.
They're trained how to do all these things, how to dematerialize the body, think where they want to be there instantaneously. Okay, how to transform things into existence using the sun rays, how to walk through walls, how to fly without. They keep Wonder Woman in her butt.
Well, I know that.
They had to smash through walls, and all that brick and everything. No, white people love the violence aspect. Okay, they just walk through walls.
Wow. Well, I know I'm excited about the up and coming projects that you have. So again, family, I will post the information about the online book party we're going to have this coming up Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll put the questions out there for those who want to get an opportunity to win the sweepstake for the book. You need to email the questions to Truth Uncompromised on Facebook, and it's going to be on the first come, first served basis, whoever has the right answers. But I encourage you all to join us on Tuesday so you can, again, speak with Brother Morse regarding the book. And as you can see, we just got a glimpse of it tonight, that it's both. It's going into the true history of not only this particular universe, but what happened several creations, plural, beforehand, as well as the European Black Nobility. So with that said, I want to give the panel one. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
You can also direct them to my website, the one that you posted on, the Series B333.
Yes. So you can also go to Brother Moore's Facebook page, Sirius B333, and he also has a website.
Right. Series B333, which is Series B33 wixsite.com/Mo Sirius.
Yeah, and I will post that on the Truth Uncompromised Facebook page as well, so you can check that out. He has actually a lot of information out there as well. He has his film projects as well as it's just a lot of stuff out there. If you want to know all the things that he's involved in, I'll post that link as well.
And you can you also post with him SiriusB333.com. Because there's 2 websites. What I do, I took about 6 websites and I blended them into one.
Yep.
This is how you work it.
So I'm going to see. Let me see where we are. Okay, I thought I saw somebody's hand up. It went down. Okay. So to give the panel one last time, I know we went over a lot of stuff. So I'll start with Brother Wendell. Did you have any other thing you wanted to discuss with Brother Morse, or any last words you want to put on it?
Yeah, I just I appreciate your work, brother, because there's so much information out there. It helps a lot to put all these pieces together, because that's basically what we have to do. We have to rebuild. We have to rebuild, starting with the information.
Yes, and as I said before, so there's a lot of information inside of you that you have to you just sit down and tell yourself to bring it up. Because the thing that would happen, bring it up from your gut. If you're feeling first, before you think, you feel, and then you think about what you felt. You know? So start there, starting with solar plexus. Yeah, because it's in your DNA. It's always on the inside of you, where you don't have to go and access a lot of material externally. Okay? Since you've started from the beginning, 950 billion years of the creation, there's nothing that you don't know. That's where the self-confidence comes in. You can't talk 950 billion years to a Caucasian because they can't conceive of it. I think you're talking fairy tale, and they live in fairy tale. They live in Disneyland. They live in Superman, Captain Marvel. They live in Marvel comic books. They have no reality. Okay? So it's our responsibility to be self-confident. As I told the sister Rhonda before, don't be afraid to use the term abracadabra after you call for something to exist. Because abracadabra means I create as I think. These are our terms. But see, we've forgotten it because they use the technology of putting those cubes into the rings of Saturn as computers, and they erase the minds of the humans on the planet. The day is the Anunnaki. That was 9,500 BC. They put a net around the planet so that none of the benevolent ETs could come in here and mentor us the way they have been doing for millions of years. But that net is put down now. We run it. And the Illuminati is running for the hills of Brazil and Australia. Self-confidence, that will. Self-confidence more so than ego. Where the brothers and the Caucasians, both where the males slip up, is that they let false ego come in. And they've been trained that the female is inferior to them, so they don't let the females lead.
Okay, family, so I'm going to drop a jewel. He just answered another one of the questions. I'm just saying. But go ahead on, Brother
Particularly, you don't never put a sister behind you. They got these in Islam. They got these sisters walking in behind them. I see people in the street, and when I was traveling around. That's what the European, because the Swedish women run Scandinavia. Scandinavia females run the country because they're not Aryans, and they don't have any religion societies. They burn all those churches down. That was over in Normandy, and they're over in Ireland and Scotland. Burn them down, and then burn up the books, because the books were printed with gold. Burn up the books and take all the gold. Now, that was Thor, the Vikings. Black people were the original Vikings. They were in the movies and got angry at the brother, from the black actor from England, because he wanted to do the role of Thor. Whereas white folks want to portray you in their fairy tales. But when you try to do your reality of who you are, which in the reality of which they've been taught is white folks, they've been taught that the Vikings were white people. Vikings were the ones that taught the Scandinavians everything that they know. When you go to Scandinavia, you don't have a problem like you have here. It was the Scandinavians that helped us as Black Panthers defeat the military in Vietnam. So they send those Swedish girls. They allow us to send those Swedish girls over to the front line, put them in those mini skirts. They go over there and sex out those brothers and drag those brothers right back to Stockholm, Sweden. The government would pay for everything. So they didn't have the black brothers on the front line to win the wars in Vietnam, and then win their wars and get disrespected when you come back to America. Mm-hmm. Those Swedish girls, those little sexy Swedish girls, because sex is a thing with them. They dominate Scandinavia. Because sexual energy is what dominates the entire universe. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Wow. Okay. Sis Sandra, did you have any thing that you wanted to, in addition, you wanted to ask Brother Morse, and also any last words for the family?
It was a lot of information, and I appreciate it. It was thought-provoking. I do want to ask this question. When Zecharia Sitchin translated the Sumerian text about the Anunnaki, he got a blowback from his own people that started to discredit him for what he's done. And, of course, he also wrote the 12th chapter of the Disappearing Planet book. So,
which is in the beer room.
Yeah.
Oh, the 12th.
I'm just trying to put all this stuff together and how the mankind versus human is relevant, because they did.
I love the question, baby. Go ahead. You want me to answer you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Number one, go on YouTube, pull up Arizona Wilder and David Icke, and let Arizona Wilder talk to you about Zecharia Sitchin. Zecharia Sitchin was a shape-shifting reptilian humanoid. And he gave you a lot of false information. The Anunnaki is where the Hebrews come from. I did a thing where I have a video on YouTube that got a lot of hits on it. It's entitled, "The Jews Are the Anunnaki." Yahweh Jehovah is an Anunnaki. The word itself just means those who from the heaven came to earth. The Sumerian text, the text from Babylon, what they call became the Persian Empire. Now it's broken up into Iran, Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, where the American military was sent over to the area there to get the uranium that was buried beneath the Gobi Desert. The Jews have carte blanche operation over the United States as a result of the fact that they control most of the uranium on the planet. The nuclear arsenal, which the United States military-industrial complex has, needs that uranium in order for the weapon, let's say, to be successful in regards to the missiles that they shoot out.
Mm-hmm.
They're not using laser rays the way the higher dimensional beings do it, the way we did it on the planet in antiquity, with the spaceships known as the Vimanas coming out of India. They don't have those spaceships on the wall in Seti's temple, along with helicopters, Land Rovers, and submarines for no reason. We ran even the third dimension here, in addition to the fifth dimension, as a spacecraft civilization. for hundreds of millions of years. The Supreme Being personality, Sambo, they took all those crafts off of the surface of the planet. They're in the interior where Agape and Shambhala are located, or they're beneath the surface where Thoth and the brothers and sisters from Atlantis, when they came to Egypt, Thoth were 65,000 ascended masters in his spaceship, and that's what landed beneath the surface of Kemet. And they built the pyramids of Kemet. They built the 3 major pyramids and 40 smaller pyramids beneath the certain stellar systems in order to attract that energy down to Kemet. And they built underground ultramodern spacecraft worlds for themselves from beneath the pyramid all the way down to Africa, to the Red Sea. And they still exist today as a spacecraft civilization. These brothers would have, they were the ones who produced the so-called African gods in Kemet. And they still exist. They produce immortal beings. Those immortal beings still exist today. An immortal being doesn't die. It always exists. In order to get assistance, you have to request assistance from them. Because if you don't, they're not going to do anything, because they don't want to transgress the laws of free will, which is known as the divine law of one. The divine law of one, you pay that karma back if you transgress the sovereignty of another nation, another person, etc. So praying up to the sky to some Heavenly Father, God, Lord, to come and save you is not going to do anything for you. The Christ beings and those higher dimensional beings who live on the inner earth and fly their spaceships all through the surface of the planet and those ultramodern spacecraft civilizations that the Atlanteans constructed, also from Cuba all the way up to Normandy. That was all Atlantis.
Okay, that's another question and answer right there. Just saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead on, brother.
Beneath the surface of the planet, you have far much more going on than you have on the surface. Those are where the networks are. Those are where everybody's flying their spaceships and be down there for millions of years flying spaceships. And all the entrances and the exits to this planet, through the ocean, through the mountains, because they can dematerialize their planet, or the planet, I'm sorry, not the planet, but their spacecraft. I've seen tapes before they disavowed them and disallowed them to come into the United States of what transpired in Mexico when all those spaceships from the inner earth was coming up through the volcanoes. They just fire is nothing, but they just fly through the fire, through the fire, and through all the hot molten in the volcanoes, and they would appear just maybe 2 and then disappear. And the Mexicans would applaud and they would come back at 7. And the Mexicans would applaud, they disappear and come back at 14. And they would just go from one dimension to the next and just playing, what they could do in Mexico, what they can't do here, because America would want to shoot them down. They're sitting up there, jets at them, trying to shoot them down. And they would tear this sucker to shreds. So they could play. So they were just playing with the Mexicans. And the Mexicans were just coming with their blankets, and they were sleeping around the mountain. They were just because they were being entertained every single day. They were sleeping around the volcanoes. They weren't concerned about any lava coming to destroy them. Everywhere. Well, you don't see that in America. Okay? You don't see what you see in Japan when those fleets of spaceships just fly over in Japan. You can't even count on there so many of them. They come out of the inner earth every single day from the North Pole and the South Pole. And the NASA knows about them. But NASA is under a watch order where they can't say anything. And the employees can't say anything. It's top secret. They come out of the South Pole, come out of the North Pole, each and every day. And in the United States, Russia and all, they don't even try to interfere with anything. Is because they're fleets of spaceships, but those spaceships can fly directly through one another. They're not going to crash. They move to see. That's what's so awesome when you're out of three-dimensional existence, and you can move from 3 dimensions into the other higher dimension. You just walk right through one another. Because they park their spaceships in the streets of Mexico, they walk through their spaceships, and the Mexicans will just walk through the spaceships also, from one to the side to the next, as if it wasn't even there. Those are realities that we will become acquainted with again, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the plan is, going back to that.
Yep.
And the adversary won't be here. The adversary wants to fight and kill all the time. So the new frequencies, they allow us to rejuvenate on a constant basis. And the adversaries, they age them quickly so they can die off. But the brothers and sisters on the interior of the planet, they live for 5,000 and 6,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody dying off at 60 and 80 and all that. They don't even start going to school until they get 80 years old.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. Okay, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Just relating to the fact that time is relative to where you're located. You know, they have what they call. You can download the Smoky God by Olaf Hansen. He's a Norwegian. Him and his father got stranded in the interior. They stayed there for 2 years. So when they left out there, they gave them so much gold that their ship would sink. But they have mountains. They have the mountains are made of gold on the interior. The streets are all paved with gold. That's what that stuff comes from about the streets being paved with gold. Their streets are made of all gold. The buildings are made of all gold and diamonds combined. And then the furniture made of gold, diamonds, and crystals combined. We've never been poor. We've always been saturated with tons and tons of gold. So don't think poverty.
Exactly.
Don't ever think poverty. Because you are as you think you are.
That's right.
So I think poverty, and you call that vibration to you. You call that energy.
Right.
Remember, everything is energy. Think of yourself. Use your imagination. Sit down and imagine yourself as a luxurious, divine, whatever. You riding around in a Ferrari. You got a Lamborghini. You're living in that's what you want in terms of your lifestyle. And see yourself in the best of luxury in terms of where your living accommodations are. And that will manifest. The universe will provide you with whatever you desire. You have to manifest. You have to visualize it. But the plenty of talk about use your imagination. In school, you be imagining things. They talk about you can't daydream here. That's the worst thing you could do to a young person, because your daydreaming is you're using your imagination, which is the most powerful thing you have. That's your wealth, not this fiat paper money. You can imagine anything you want. Imagine the luxuries that you want to have, the gold that you want to have, and the diamonds that you want to have, and see those things constantly, and the universe will manifest them for you.
That's right.
Yourself with the most beautiful, loving partner. You know, a lot of crazies out here, but there's also some beautiful, loving warmth. Partners all over the planet. If they've gone crazy in one area, the thing about us is we are the same beautiful people all over this planet. Out from Brazil to Africa to Australia to Europe to Colombia, South America to Mexico, everywhere you go. You got gorgeous big booty goddess, handsome brothers. These are the sisters of those bodies. The vegans made those bodies that the sisters have and the brothers have. The vegans are the best genetic engineers you can imagine, and they're your grandparents. The Syrians are our parents. The vegans are. That's why we become a vegan. You become a vegan, hey, that body just bam.
All right. Okay, brother Sean, I do want to give you an opportunity also, if you have any additional questions, comments for Brother Morse, or any last words for the family.
Yeah, I would basically like to say, first and foremost, to the family. I see a lot of y'all on Facebook talking about support your own. Here's your opportunity. I mean, he's providing you with everything. I mean, if you're just base enough where there's just entertainment, I mean, the whole story is there. You got your superheroes, you got your love story, you got it all. And written by one of your own. You're always waiting for them to write characters for you. You got one of your own doing it right now. Difference between them and us, they do. They make things happen for each other. He's been on their side. He has the knowledge, the experience. And he's trying to share it with y'all. It's like he said earlier, he had something stole from him. He wasn't compensated for it. It was a bestseller. That let him see what his purpose was. The universe rewarding him back. He's giving back to the universe. He's sharing. I mean, we have to do something other than complaining about what they ain't doing.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, Brother Morse.
I would say anything here, man. Oh, yes. Service for others is the most important thing. We live in a system where they do service for self. Service for self will always terminate your existence. The service for others, but do service for others and do righteous things. Because that karma will get you. That righteousness is so important. Because it enables you to have immortality. So you already, but it's what you call going home, going back to the base. You get that home run, and now you go slide back to the base. So what those brothers did yesterday on that basketball court.
Wow.
Multi-billionaires with those multi-billionaire dollar corporations, they can't make any money using their own white boys on the court, on the football field. Now, we remember back in the day when if you had one brother that got into a company, you know, that was a big deal. See, this is what we do. This is what Sambo's having a ball with. I know they're just in ecstasy. The supreme being personality of God. Yes, remember they call old little black Sambo? In a derogatory manner. Turns out Sambo is the supreme being personality of the entire universe. He's got a male supreme being or a female supreme being. Somebody mentioned the term man, the difference between man and mankind. What did they say when they went to the moon? One step for man, one giant step for mankind.
For mankind, yep. They were telling you right there.
Right there, a kind of man.
Yep, a kind of
man. Only a kind of man that was put together from the reptilian DNA and the rhesus and Gibbons monkey DNA, which rhesus and Gibbons monkeys are blonde-haired monkeys. So the sisters went around the black blondes. That's no status symbol. That tells you saying, okay, I come from a monkey. Because that's how the Caucasian got the blonde hair. Blonde hair and blue eyes is called what Francis Cress Walton calls inferior recessive gene.
Yeah, the recessive gene.
So it's not ingratiating, and it's not even attractive because it bleaches out the sisters. Sisters are gorgeous. Look at some of the pictures of them when they have the hair was was jet black, as opposed to the style of it now. Just being blonde, they want to be a blonde. They want to look like they're blonde-headed Jesus that they've been brainwashed with all their life. It's internal, and it's not just it's located here in America. It becomes global.
Yeah.
And so you go to Scandinavia, and those blonde in Scandinavia, they got their hair the same color of the Ethiopian flag. Trying to dreadlock it. They're trying to lock it.
Yep.
The locks won't stay, but they got the yellow and the green.
Yep.
Bob Marley's sons started the Bob Marley University. And Bob Marley University is international, rather. And it's affecting. It's affecting white folks. Think of the white youth. They're all trying to dreadlock their hair. They don't want no goddamn blonde hair. In Scandinavia, they naturally blonde. And naturally blonde. They're trying to get rid of that shit.
Yep. Wow. Well, Brother Morse. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying they black male crazy. The reason that they're black male crazy is that the gods that they talk about, and they talk about and Bodun and all that. We're taught in our history in the school books and in the school sessions that these were white Vikings. And that's what they show you that the white Vikings. And the Scandinavians know that these were black folks, and they taught us. You need to see that movie again. You can download it with Sidney Poitier playing a Moor. It's called The Bell.
Yeah, I have to look that one up.
And he goes all over Scandinavia to find the bell that was stolen from North Africa and taken to Scandinavia. I got to really see it again. I downloaded parts of it. I got to really. So now I know a little more than I know then. I got to see who stole it.
Right. I have to check it out.
Yeah, was it the Aryan? Was it the Roman Catholic Church? Who stole that bell?
Right.
Sidney Poitier played a Moor, and they didn't make his hair straight. Couldn't be a nappy headed Moor. It'd be a straight headed Moor because they were most of the Moors were Arabs. They wouldn't have.
Oh wow! Now I really got to see that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Sidney became a friend of mine in Stockholm. And we spent a whole day together at on Thanksgiving at a Thanksgiving dinner, which was given by Charles, who had grown up with Sidney in Jamaica, and Charles was married to Alexandria, and the nightclub was called Alexandria. It was the hottest nightclub in Stockholm, and I was a photographer up there. And Sidney tells me I'm the only person that ever made him put a camera on him for 8 hours, and he didn't get paid.
That's funny. Well, Brother Morse, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. You have given us a wealth of information, of course. I look forward to us doing the official online book party this Tuesday for When Europe Was Black. And, of course, I look forward to the other many projects that you are putting out for the family. I want to thank you very much. This information coming out, it is definitely the right time. And, those of us that seek out the truth, seek out the information, this is definitely an opportunity for us to read it, digest it, and disseminate it and get the word out as well. So I want to thank you, Brother Morse, so much for joining us tonight.
And also you can let them know that you on the YouTube address that I have. That's where they can see it. Where they can see the emotion, the visuals of what you see in the book. few hundreds. I used to have 700 videos up there.
Right. How I do it, because you had 2 YouTube channels up, so I would put in his name, Morse Donaldson, and you'll see all of the videos associated with him. And like he said, he has over 700 and something videos, a wealth of information out there.
No, YouTube down. I talked about the Jews so badly, the YouTube terminated my site.
That doesn't surprise me.
But see, what happens? You get smart enough. Never just have one site with these characters, okay? Because they don't want any information. I would always have 3 sites, so have them under different names. Same thing with Facebook. If they take down one, I got 2 and 3 others that I can work with.
Right.
And then just have to change and start saying Jew. I thought they were saying the Zionists or the Hebrew scribes.
Right, like everybody else has been doing. Yep, that's how you have to get around it.
You have to outsmart the suckers, okay?
Absolutely. Well, family, thank you so much. We'll be back next Tuesday with the online book party for When Europe Was Black. If you want to enter the sweepstakes to answer the 5 questions correctly on a first-come, first-served basis, go to give your answers via email to Truth Uncompromised Facebook page. I will post the questions on Truth Uncompromised Facebook as well. And then we will be back here Thursday, myself and my co-host, the panel, to do a show on the feminine divine. I've been holding off this show, so I wanted to get the other stuff in. So now we're going to go in hard on the feminine divine coming up Thursday. So we are going to wrap it up, and I want to thank Brother Morse again. We're going to rock out with some music. Love you very much, family, and hopefully you can join us this coming up Tuesday. Peace and love, family.